Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, a man tries to rebuild his life after the death of his wife by finding someone new and living happily ever after. The only problem is that someone ends up dead. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again on another wild, crazy, insane edition of Small Town Murder. We are very, very excited for this week's episode. It's a twisty, weird one this week, so you're going to enjoy it. Very, very nuts. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for the reviews this week.
Hell yeah.
We don't understand why they help, but those reviews on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, the purple icon, they help a lot. They help drive you up the charts. So if you haven't done it yet, please do that. Doesn't matter what you say. Nope. You can just say we're following instructions, following directions. It's dark in here. Please help. It doesn't matter, but do it, and you can counteract some people who have been mad at us lately that have been trying to ruin that for us. So that helps. So if you're a listener of the show and you like us, please do that.
Ridiculous fucking
Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your small town murder and crime and sports needs. There we have everything that you could want. Check out Crime and Sports if you haven't yet. It's a wild, crazy ride, and if you like this show, there's no reason why you wouldn't like that show. I'm telling you, it's the same
didn't
thing.
we learn things too?
It's insanity. It's not about sports.
Right.
It's about hearing someone who doesn't have to do something stupid repeatedly do stupid things.
Yes, they do.
Everybody wants to hear that, so check that out. Do that. Also, get tickets to the live shows for 2020. So many coming up. We're very, very excited. Columbus is on sale finally.
Great.
Columbus, Ohio in November. What is that? November 21st. People, we've been asking us. Thank you for keeping up on it. They were changing ticketing systems, and now they got that all settled. And Columbus is on sale right now. You can follow us on social media. You would have got that information ahead of time.
Yeah.
We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. You can do that. Check us out there. Get all your tickets to live shows. The first two are sold out, Denver and Salt Lake City, but February 15th and 16th, we're in Indianapolis and in Louisville. Get your tickets right now to those. Also, that second Portland show is selling extremely fast, so you want to get your tickets there. And also, New York is, you gotta get those in pretty quick.
Little Murmur up there in Brooklyn,
We're
right?
going to have a good time there, Jimmy. We are going to have a good time.
I've never been to Brooklyn. I'm
Really?
excited to see it.
It's a thing. It's done. It's so different now. Who knows? We'll see. I don't know exactly what neighborhood this one's into. I got to check it out, and we'll see. I'm sure it's nice though, because I don't know.
We've always been in Manhattan, and that place is just
Manhattan's great.
so
but
busy.
It's just hard to get in and out of, and
just so much.
Brooklyn's a little easier for people, I think.
I'm sure there's still pizza out there.
Oh, there's good pizza in Brooklyn. Brooklyn has great food. Don't worry, the Guinea culture is thick there.
Fantastic.
And I'll emerge myself.
Coffee and pizza.
I'll immerse myself and emerge from there. It'll be wonderful. So, with that said, we do have. Oh, one other thing too. If you want to be a hero to the show, if you want to help the show out a lot, you can be a donor at patreon.com/crime in sports. And this week, by the way, we will be releasing another Patreon bonus episode, and it's a case, and we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing that quite a bit here, releasing cases on Patreon. It's for the $5 level and above or something, so get on there. That'll come out Friday, and that'll be great for that. Also, you can make a one-time donation over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Right.
We are so appreciative of everything, and we're going to tell you how appreciative at the end of the show with our list of producers. That said, we have to do the disclaimer quickly.
Yes, we do.
Definitely need that. This is a comedy show.
It is.
It's a comedy podcast. We're comedians. We're not journalists, and we're not doctors, and we're not lawyers, and we're not anything like that. We're comedians. All the facts are real.
Right.
Do really take the research very, very seriously. But we do make jokes. This is a comedy show. We are comedians. Right. So that's a thing that's going to happen. We try to confine our jokes to, things that deserve it.
Yeah.
Something goofy in a small town. Yeah. If a police force lets a murderer go for 10 years, we might make fun of them.
Yeah.
We'll make fun of murderers.
Sure.
We'll make fun of crazy situations that lead up to murders. But what we will try not to do, and we'll go out of our way not to do it, is we'll try not to make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Right.
Because we're assholes.
What?
But we're not scumbags.
You can take that to the bank.
That's how that works. So, if that sounds, first of all, if you don't think true crime and comedy should just ever go together, if you say, I can't understand people making jokes anywhere around in a murder, that's fine.
Yeah.
We get that's totally fine. We totally understand that. Don't listen to the show, though.
No.
Don't listen to it and then complain afterwards.
Never
We're
do
telling you what it is. If you don't like meat, don't stand outside of a hamburger place being a vegan saying, I don't like your food. Go to eat at your restaurant then, or don't the other opposite way. I hate vegetables outside. Then don't listen or don't eat it. What are you doing?
Right.
Why would you torture yourself and listen to something you're not going to like?
You're not getting the tiramisu.
No, you're not. So that said, if you think that true crime and comedy do go together, you want to have a good time,
you can hang with us.
I think we're going to have a good time. I think it's time to sit back and shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this.
Great.
Jimmy. Let's go on a trip.
Fine.
What do you say? Fine. Very encouraging here. What do you say? Let's do this here. Yeah. This week we are heading to the center of the country, the creamy, nougaty center of the country, going to Oklahoma, where we will be this year as well, as a matter of fact. We're going all the way to Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Now, this is very close, we'll talk about, to our last Oklahoma town. Like, excessively close, but it's a totally different kind of a place. So that's why it's like it's close, but it's so different that we could do it anyway. It's not a big deal. Plus, the case is crazy and it doesn't matter.
Right.
So we're going to do this here. It's in northeastern Oklahoma. This is the opposite side of the Panhandle over there. This is the square part of the state.
Got it.
In every way imaginable.
Yeah.
Very square.
Bartlesville, not Jamestown.
This is I want to say the buckle, but it wouldn't even say it enough. This is like a rhinestone covered rodeo belt buckle of the Bible Belt. That's what this place is. Everybody is first and foremost is church, and then the rest of everything else goes on here. So that's the type of place it is. Very square. It's about 50 minutes to Tulsa, about 2 hours and 25 minutes to Oklahoma City, where we'll be on May 9th, as a matter of fact.
That early?
Yes, get your tickets to that right now. And about 10 minutes, like I said, to Dewey, Oklahoma, which is episode 100. It's a while ago, which this town, though, is right next to Pawhuska, so there's a good chance that anyone murdered here is buried in the Pioneer Woman's yard next to her mother-in-law.
Where she's at?
She lives there, and we looked up how much land she owns. She pretty much owns all the land between Pawhuska and this town anyway.
Are you serious?
So pretty much she owns square miles, Jimmy.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, it's crazy. She owns like 1% of Oklahoma.
Why does she get to do that?
Land, because they're wealthy as shit. Her husband is a big cattle ranching,
there you go,
the wealthy landowning family from way back, and she's married into that, and she makes a shitload of money herself and owns literally it's more than 1% of Oklahoma she owns. It's insane, and it's all this area.
Global warming is her fault.
I'm doing it all here. The hands dangling. I'm making no chicken tonight. Okay.
We got all that beef out there doing all that farting.
All that farting. Washington and Osage counties. This town is in both counties for some reason. A lot of Oklahoma towns overlap into counties. Like the towns came before the counties, and they didn't.
I could see that.
They just put the county line right through it rather than around it, which is interesting. Zip codes here, there's a bunch of them. It's 74003, 004, and 005. Okay. So there's a bunch. Area codes 539 and 918. It's 22 square miles. And this is more like on the higher end of population of what we do.
This is big.
This is like a Rome, Georgia sized city here. The motto, City of Bartlesville, connected, creative, vibrant.
Okay.
Or come see Ree Drummond's property and all the people she owns as well. She owns humans, I feel like. It's kept under wraps, but Ree Drummond owns humans. Let's just say it right now. Those recipes contain human meat. I mean, it's allegedly.
Jesus.
People have told me.
Yeah.
I've been told.
You've heard it?
Sources have said that Ree Drummond's recipes are 60% human meat. I can't confirm these facts.
She bottles it and sells it at Walmart.
I don't know. So we'll see. So Walmart sells human meat in turn. Allegedly. We don't know this for a fact.
Heard it.
Obviously. It's been said. We'll say by me right now. But it's very alleged.
Say their motto again. They're connected?
Connected. Connected, created, vibrant. They're trying to make this like, hey, move here. All the people here are old. It's a very old rural town. It's like, I don't want to be vibrant. I'm good where I'm at, as a matter of fact. Now, this town was started by the same guy who started Dewey. There's a guy named Jacob Bartles, who is the son-in-law of the Delaware Chief Journey Cake.
What?
Chief Journey Cake, which sounds like some sort of 80s tribute band.
Or a gift you give when somebody's going on their walkabout.
Here you go.
Here's a Journey Cake.
Here's your Journey Cake. But
they named it. His name is Chief Journey Cake.
Chief Charles Journey Cake, which sounds very made up, but it's a real person that had a lot of respect. I don't believe it. So it's in print. I mean, who knows here? But he had a grist mill that modified it to produce flour. He ended up going to Dewey and kind of opening a store there and kind of creating that whole deal. Now, other settlers moved into the area, which was called Bartlestown at the time, and this was around 1880. The Bartles moved the post office to this town. It was in Turkey Creek before this.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
we had Turkey Creek in the last one too, right?
That's what I mean. This was the same guy. So I'm just
we
going.
Had tons of wine cooler jokes.
Yeah, that's why we're not doing it on this one.
And do we do Crybaby references in Turkey Creek?
We put that in there. I remember those very specifically here.
Hatchet Face feels like her face should be the flag of Oklahoma.
Absolutely. So then Bartles gave the community, kind of brought electricity and telephone system and water distribution. This guy's like the father of the town here. And then this city began when a guy opened a general store on the south side of the river in 1884, and then the newspaper began publishing in 1895, and it became kind of more of a town. It was incorporated in what was Indian territory at the time in 1897. The town was surveyed and everything in 1898, and they tried to get the railroad to come there. They gave land to the railroad. The railroad got there by 1899, and then Bartles moved his shit to Dewey. So, shit's getting crazy here.
It's getting too big around. It's too metropolis.
You know what?
Is that it?
It's
metropolitan?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's too metropolitan, I believe. Yeah, it's getting a little too much around here.
Yeah.
There's a post office and a store. I don't know.
I can't hunt enough.
That's the
I can't go corral my own meats.
I went outside today and I looked out and I saw another house, and I said, it's just getting too much. I could see a house.
Yeah.
It's on the horizon like half a mile away, but it's too much for me.
I saw a guy lick a stamp, and I'm like, you know what? Too forward thinking.
Is that Ree Drummond's family coming? No, I'm moving. Not move. She's going to come trying to give me chicken with her T-Rex hands dangling down. Chicken? Who wants chicken? I can't handle it. I got to get the hell out of here. She serves human meat, and then he left. I believe that's what happened.
The chicken cutlets are thigh muscle.
She knows that. I'll give her that. Yeah. She knows what cuts go with what. So good for you, Ree. Allegedly, obviously, this can't be proven.
That's what I'm told.
We can't. I can't. I'm not going to go to Oklahoma.
Somebody said it somewhere.
We can't get on her property. It's a compound. She's like Pablo Escobar at his peak. She's just in the middle of farmland.
She has so much land.
Armed guards around her, I'm sure, at all times. I feel like she has snipers on the roof. They're like, you can see for miles. No one's coming. She's like, still just live up there. Okay. It's a couple of cowboys.
Yeah.
They die. They roll off. She buries them in the yard. That's how it works.
He goes and hires another.
That's it. No, there's more. But more where you came from. She buys another. That's it. People here. So Bartlesville was a sundown town originally.
I remember those.
We've spoke of sundown towns. That's a place where black people were not allowed to live or really be, for that matter, after sundown was the thing. It was kind of what they would say is, if you're there after sundown, you'll get killed.
It's the original.
It's not nice.
When the street lights are on, you better be gone.
Yeah, it's not nice. We'll put it that way. Not a nice thing to do.
It's not inviting.
No, I would say it definitely. If you're thinking, do they want me there? No, is the answer probably. If they're threatening death on people, this is not okay. But by 1907, they restricted the ban on black people living there. I can't imagine being like, all right, we're going to set this post office down. Okay, post office now. Who's the mayor? We got to set up a town council. I'm thinking of like a 3-person panel. That way we can vote on, because sometimes things are going to be, somebody's going to want something. We need a
majority vote.
We need a tiebreaker. So we're going to set up probably a 3-person city council. Someone's got to represent the school boards as well. Yeah, no, we'll talk about all that. No black people though, right? Okay, yeah, no black. Okay, that's agreed upon now. We'll get to everything else later, but no black people can live here.
It probably went. Did we get running water? Great, no black people.
I'll put the sign up. I'll put the sign up, and we'll worry about the council and all that. I think that's what I mean. It was like 3, but we'll figure all that. But no black people. We agree on that.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Ridiculous. The newspapers, Jesus Christ, this is frightening. In 1907, the newspapers noted the town's, and they were bragging about this, the town's first natural death of a black man in town.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, died a natural, see, we didn't even kill him. They were like, look at that.
We let time take him.
A man named Robert McGee died of natural causes there, and they thought that was some sort of bragging
They
rights.
were blown away.
Like, look at that. We didn't even kill him. Now, in 1957, Bartlesville, this is pretty cool. I hope people are interested in this. Bartlesville was the test site for the first experiment in pay-per-view television. 1957.
What?
Yeah. If you look at the history of television and cable, it's fucking fascinating of the experiments they tried to do and how it spread. All of cable experiments started in Middle America. It's a weird thing.
Tested there.
Yeah, like if you look at like MTV when it started, even MTV wasn't available in New York City for like a year. It was only available in rural areas.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't. No, cable systems didn't carry it in New York City and other places. But Oklahoma,
all they were playing was Video Killed the Radio Star,
and Oklahoma was ground zero for MTV.
Really?
Central Oklahoma, they were saying like they would go. The reason why they knew MTV was working was because they would find out from the record companies that record companies were getting calls from video stores or record stores in Tulsa saying we ran out of Buggles albums. The video killed the radio star. Now, no one was buying fucking Buggles albums unless they were watching MTV. They didn't know who the fuck that was. It was an obscure British band. But
is that who that was?
Yeah, was the name of them. Buggles was the video killed the radio star.
It wasn't the Bugles?
No, it's the Buggles.
It wasn't Blondie?
No.
What was Blondie's hit? Why am I
Heart of Glass? Titus. There's a bunch of them.
Why am I missing this? I just know that was the first one that was on the network.
Yeah, because it obviously
was the
it's
Buggles?
symbolic. The Buggles is their name. Yes.
Those poor bastards. Nobody knows that.
Well, they came up with it. It's their fucking name. No one said they had to be the Buggles. They weren't.
That's a good point.
The Queen didn't bestow it upon them.
Are we going with those dumb bastards or poor bastards?
Like dumb, I think. But that's how much. But it was Oklahoma was kind of ground zero for some reason of that, and then it spreads from there. It's a weird. Everything else starts to coast and moves in except for cable and like television shit started in the middle and moved down. So the 1957. I mean, we're talking. This is some people didn't even have TVs yet.
Yeah.
This wasn't everyone in America had a TV yet, and if they did, they had one.
Right.
And it was tiny and black and white,
and everybody huddled around. Or you did it in a fucking storefront, and you just stood there in the freezing cold.
Well, the people that bought the most they sold televisions to in like the late 40s and early 50s was bars. That's what they used to sell. That was the main customer for televisions before.
Everybody went there to watch.
They'd go to the bar to go to watch a game, to go to watch anything. The game shows that were popular at the time.
Tiny ass TV.
Everyone gathered in a bar, but that was a big attraction for the bars. Sure. And then people started buying them at home when the price went down a little bit. And the bar attendance dipped. So that's how it happened then. So the Bartlesville telemovie system debuted in 1957. They played a film called The Pajama Game starring Doris Day.
Hell yeah.
And it aired to 300 homes.
Really?
They had a 300, they had an article in Variety magazine in 1957 called First Run Films Now at Home. So this was like the original, in the theater in your home pay-per-view system or streaming now or whatever it was. This was the original deal. It's because this was like this is an oil community, Bartlesville. It's all about the oil here.
Okay.
This is where Phillips.
Yep.
Phillips. This is where he's from.
Okay.
And this everything revolves around
Roughnecks,
Conoco and Phillips and all that shit in this area here.
Oh, Phillips, the fucking gas station.
Yeah, that's wow. Mr. Phillips is from Bartlesville.
Okay.
And everything in town is named after him. And
really?
This is oil country here. And this is like kind of there's wealthier people here, so that's why this was kind of the test site for this pay television, because people here could afford it.
Got it.
And that's how it worked. The president of Video Independent Theaters owned a bunch of Bartlesville movie theaters. He tried to use this as like, people were staying home now because of television, not going to the movies as much. So he was like, well, fuck, how do I make money? I can get them to buy shit from their house. Yeah. And so it was the original, it's brilliant. Somebody had it in 1957. And it's a couple of, they brought these, the technology for it. They sent a signal, and it was the first cable system. It was pretty fucking neat. But 1957 this was. Your subscribers, you paid $9.50 a month for this.
That's a lot.
In 1957, that's a fuckload of money.
That's so much.
That's so much. But I mean, what was it? Probably 50 cents to go to the movies back then.
I'll bet it was cheaper.
But if you had a big family and you went to the movies often, this was actually. But I mean, $9.50. You had to have some money to pay $9.50 a month for anything.
You could buy a brand new car for like $1,300.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 26 feature films this would get you. 13 first run features, so right away, theater, and 13 reruns on a second channel.
Okay,
so they do it like that.
There's value in it.
Yeah, and then you could get for $4.95. You could get first runs and reruns to a single feature on one channel with like a kind of less programming that they had there.
Oh boy, if they would be pissed to know that Netflix
this is working.
The same price and we get so much
everything,
more.
And it's the $9.50 is worth nothing now. Right. It's not anything. But right before it ended, they had 800 subscribers there. So I mean, it's
it was working.
It was working, but then they had to go off because there was the TV was just doing more for them.
Sure.
Now, I found a review here of Bartlesville, Oklahoma here, and it's here it is. Yeah. Bartlesville, Oklahoma used to be a nice town for retirees, employees of ConocoPhillips, and your run-of-the-mill family. However, in recent years, the decline of the town has been anything but gradual. Oh my! Driving around, you will still find an abundance and current construction of churches and hotels. Well, that's good. At least there's churches and hotels. Bartlesville is separated into what the locals call East Side and West Side, and are separated by some type of bridge at every crossing. The high school is number 2,377th in national ranking and 25.1 out of 100 for college readiness. In the past couple of years, there's been a rise in crime in the area. Considered most dangerous in Bartlesville is right by the high school. If you wish to stay, if you wish for a place to stay for a night or a couple days, there's plenty of hotels or motels to choose from. He's really obsessed with that. If you wish to move here, the sudden availability of rentals and houses for sale signs should keep you occupied and give you plenty of options. So it's not doing great.
It's available.
It's available, and we'll talk about it. It's very inexpensive to live here. Yeah, the owner of the Tennessee Titans, Bud Adams, is from here. Apparently grew up here. Reed Drummond grew up here.
Really?
That's why, she grew up here.
Why didn't she just buy the town? There's so much shit available, it sounds like.
I don't know. Well, she didn't have the money at the time. Yeah. I think she went to USC, and I'm not going to get into Reed Drummond anymore. Her husband went to ASU, though.
Did he really?
He did. And then he's a farmer anyway.
Why did you do? A rancher. Why would you do that? Seems like your family was probably involved, right?
Amika Okafor, the basketball players from here.
Oh.
So there's that. It's otherwise not a lot here from this place. Now, population of this town, like I said, this is on our higher end, 36,398.
That's a lot.
It's about as high as we do here. Up 7% since 1990. So it's working, I guess you could say. More females than males. That's because there's twice as many 85-year-old and over than usual. So that's always going to be more females at that point because you always outlive us. Median age is about 38 and a half, but there's, like I said, way more old people, more married people than usual because it's just it's more of that kind of place. It's a settle down kind of place, not a real party town.
So you work it out place.
You work it out, you take it to church, and you figure it the fuck out.
Pray about it.
But there's also a higher divorce rate than normal because you got married when you're 19 because you wanted to have sex and you couldn't because you were religious. So
got to make it okay with it.
That's what ends up happening here.
I want to get it out of her butt.
Yeah, it's... Please, I want to put it somewhere else. Please help me. Race of this town is about 74% white. So pretty white. 3.3% black. 2.5% Asian, 7.7% Native American.
Yeah.
In the country, it's 0.7%.
Yeah, but Oklahoma has it's a lot of good for them.
6.4% Hispanic.
Is it a lot of reservations in Oklahoma?
Yeah,
is there a lot of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of reservation.
Right. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's like Arizona. People don't realize that Arizona is like
so much.
80% reservation.
Right. There's so much.
It's pretty much the whole state.
Right.
Nobody knows.
Sometimes in northern Arizona, you will get in trouble trespassing. They'll be like, "You're not supposed to be back here." I'm like, "It's a
hell am I supposed to know? It's the woods."
I didn't see a sign.
It's the woods.
Right.
I don't know.
I will certainly leave.
And I'm not sure who owns the woods.
Right.
If you say you do, great. I'll leave. But I didn't know.
That, I don't know the laws in the woods.
The woods. Yeah, I don't know wood law. I'm not positive.
I didn't read. I don't know. I barely know them outside of the woods.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of Baptists here.
Yeah.
It's very Baptist. 21% Baptists. Mm-hmm. Baptists are apparently the Catholics of the Dead Central as well, I guess. 0.0% Jewish, 0.0% Muslim. It's not happening there. 22.7% in the last election voted Democrat, 71% Republican.
That's heavy.
It's really conservative, Oklahoma, just super conservative. Unemployment rate here is about 3.5%. This town is a haves and have-nots kind of a town.
Really?
Yeah, the median household income is about $50,826. So that's only about $7,000 less than the average, but there's more poor people and more wealthy people. Okay. It's one of those type of things. It's a little more of both.
People that make $20 and people that make $104,000.
Exactly. It's and you look at the houses too. It's like, okay, so it's either, $30,000 or $2 million. Okay, those are my options for houses.
It's a trailer or a fucking mansion.
There's a lot of stuff like that here, and manufacturing jobs are high here. The oil jobs and quarrying, extractions, usually like 0.5% of the jobs. Here it's 5%.
That's pretty heavy.
So it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot more than usual. That's where the money is here. Cost of living is 80 overall. 100 is regular. Here it's 80. Housing though is 43. Very low. The median home cost here, $99,400, which that's insane. It's less than $100,000. There's a lot of houses available in that range too, in the $60,000 to $150,000 range. There's about half the houses are in that range. So
that's intense.
There's a lot. And if we've convinced you that you need to be here, you have to be here. We have for you, maybe they'll bring back that subscription station for you. We have for you the Bartlesville, Oklahoma Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $760 a month, which seems high based on the housing prices because, well, I mean, listen to this. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,923 square feet. So it's a good size house. Four bedrooms, you can stretch out. It needs some work. It's not up to date or anything, but it's also $69,000.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's very, very affordable. And also a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,220 square foot house. Again, very big, comfortable house, $108,000.
What?
That's what I mean.
That's the middle guy.
That's the middle guy. And then I found if you want to stretch out, let's say you got redrumming money here. You want to stretch out a little bit. I found a 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 6,119 square foot. It's this brick beauty. It's fucking beautiful. $725,000.
There you go.
Which, I mean, that house somewhere else would be $3 million. Yeah. So even that's an expensive.
That might be my goal from now on in life, is to own a house one day that has more bathrooms than bedrooms. I want that.
That's the trend.
I want a bathroom in every bedroom.
That's what it is.
And then a couple bathrooms outside,
a couple
for
Publix,
else.
and then you get one for every bed. That's the dream.
That sounds amazing.
Everyone shitting in their own toilet should be the dream that we're having.
Beautiful.
You know what?
Everybody has their own exhaust fan.
That's it. You know what? I feel like that for the whole world, that should be our goal.
Yeah.
We're shooting too wide with things.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we got poverty and hunger, and we got all these things, and they're all terrible. Disease.
It's
we need to figure out all of them. I figure a lot of this would start with if everyone had their own toilet bowl, you could conquer a lot, at least disease.
That'll slow disease down
That'll slow
dramatically.
disease down, I feel like. It won't feed anybody or anything like that, but
it'll also up the jobs in the waste management arena.
That's true. We're going to need a lot of plumbers. Plumbers too, skilled workers. Yeah, this is going to be good.
Pipe layers.
Pietragallo Whisman 2020. We figured it out, guys. A bowl for every hole.
Yeah.
That is our motto.
A bowl for every beehole.
A bowl for every beehole, everybody. A T-bowl for every beehole. That
unfucking real.
T-bowl for every beehole. For every beehole. That is our motto. We will run on that. And I feel like we could win.
We will crush.
Because everyone's like, I like my own bathroom. God. Everyone's sitting there going, well, shit, I don't want to share it with this one and that one.
Done shitting with your filthy ass.
Jesus Christ. My wife shits up a storm in there. Jesus Christ. Leaves the impact marks on the bowl like it dropped out of a plane or some shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ, woman. What the hell's wrong with you? I know we eat terribly, but good God.
Inside of that bowl looks like a golf ball.
Oh, my goodness.
There's so many pits in it.
It's a lot of pits, just so much. So.
My kids like to wait till they like really gotta go. So like 2-3 times a week they're throwing mortar shells in that fucking thing and they're flushing that giant thing out.
Dropping bombs. We're too busy.
2-3 days worth of that.
My God.
Knock it off.
Knock it off.
Get in there every day or get your own.
That's right. Jesus Christ. That's what we're gonna do. Make this country wonderful. Things to do in this town. Sunfest, known as Oklahoma's biggest outdoor picnic.
Oh,
yay!
So there has nothing to do with the sun. It's just we're gonna hang out outside.
It's the end of May, so we're gonna just miss it by a couple weeks. It's in the end of May. Trademark combination of quote a relaxed family picnic atmosphere, quality and cost-free entertainment. It's always the best.
Yeah.
A diverse range of arts and crafts from white people to white people. Oh no, there's some dream catchers also. Yeah. Creative activities for children.
couple of
dream catchers.
Animal skin drums.
Shitload of candles that white ladies made. That's what you got. Terrific food in abundant variety.
Yeah.
All deep fried to perfection, I'm sure. And an eye-popping car show. Eye-popping. How eye-popping can a car show be?
Right to perfection.
I added that part. I think it's probably accurate. More than 24 food vendors there, so it's going to be ethnic specialties. Where do I go for ethnic specialties? Rural Oklahoma. About an hour outside Tulsa is where I go for ethnic specialties.
You know, if you like ethnic
Portuguese
specialties, what we
food is
have
amazing.
right here is it's a Native American taco, and then this truck also has a Native American taco.
And then we powdered it in sugar and deep fried it. So enjoy. Enjoy. It's also wrapped in a Twinkie. Did I mention that?
But I'll tell you what, those Indian fry bread with like
it's delicious.
Meat and vegetables and stuff.
Ow.
It's a giant taco.
Give it to me.
I'll eat it every day.
Every day.
It's so good.
Now, on their website, on the town's website here, there's a thing on the side of what's nearby.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, when you're in Bartlesville, take a quick 30-minute drive west on Highway 60 to Pawhuska to visit the Pioneer Woman Mercantile, as well as other great shops and restaurants.
She's got her own store.
Oh, she's got a store, a hotel.
Oh, my God.
She is fucking going to run that. She's like boss hog of that town.
Yeah.
Well, like, she's just going to be running it. She's going to be chasing down the Duke boys. Get me them Duke boys.
She's going to be the president of Oklahoma.
There was going through my property. Yeah, they are. She is. She's going to be the governor someday.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Everyone eats chicken.
and Garth Brooks are going to answer her.
Yeah, Garth Brooks will be her lieutenant governor. Crime rate in this town, property crime is it's about 10% over. So it's in the average though. It's in the average range. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about 20% under the national average.
Fantastic.
So it's a it's a nice, it's a safe-ish town.
It's friendly.
Family town. It's that sort of
They
thing.
abide by that Bible, James.
That's what I'm saying. So speaking of that, let's talk about. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back.
Do it.
That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your
all different.
Multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure, yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. About a murder.
Okay.
The only thing we can do.
Boy, oh boy.
Okay, let's do this. Now, let's talk about, well, we're going to say, start with a couple of people here.
Okay.
Let's talk about Stephen and Sandra.
Oh.
Hey,
Yeah.
Stephen and Sandra. Stephen Allen, so his name is Steve Allen, like the old-time comedian, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And he meets a girl named Sandra Jo Snavely.
Yeah.
Okay? He meets her. They get they meet in high school.
Oh, boy.
This is how they meet in Missouri.
Yeah.
It's a very Midwestern kind of a Bible Belt type of thing here. Stephen played tennis a lot. He belonged to like a city tennis league.
What year?
This is in the 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's got very tiny shorts on. His balls are hanging out 90% of the time. If he goes for anything down, at the line that he has to stretch for, always that ball's going to pop out every time.
Unless he wore those Fruit of the Loom jockeys with the yellow and blue stripe around the top.
Oh, yeah.
Then
keep your balls snug.
At minimum, his balls are snug, but there is tufts of hair.
Oh, just coming right out the side.
Boy, oh boy.
This is mid-70s.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Looks like sprouts.
You know it. So they go to high school together, and Bruce Snavely, who is Sandra's brother, he was apparently tennis partners with Stephen.
Right.
And I guess Stephen did not have a date to the prom in high school. It was a junior prom, and he didn't have a date. And he was like, I don't know who to go with. I don't have a date. I'm not really seeing anybody or not really whatever. It's bad.
I see all those pubes. You won't. My sister won't want to fuck you.
It's crazy. Every time I go for a shot, my ball pops out, and then they cancel dates with me. It's just super weird. I don't get it. Longer shorts. What are you talking about, man? You can't do that.
Looks like you got a squirrel tail in there.
Man,
what is that?
Hey, man, that's the way it is. I might just take them off and
looks like two squirrel tails
streak around that court. You never know. It's the 70s, babe. So Bruce said, well, how about my younger sister? What about her? She's cute and she's available. Why don't you go to the prom with her? And so that means, obviously, if you're saying to someone, why don't you go to the prom with my sister, that means you trust them, especially your younger sister. You're going, he's a nice guy, is what you're saying. He's not going to like jump on my sister and pull a Saturday Night Fever on her or something. It's going to be, everything's going to be nice and calm here. So he introduces them, and Sandra, they hit it off. They did that. He said, there's always my sister, go with her. And they go to the prom together, and they kind of start dating and start seeing each other, high school style. Just boyfriend, girlfriend, nothing
casual,
nothing too serious. Sandra's a very, very sweet person. Sandra is, everybody says, no one has a bad word to say about Sandra.
She's everybody's favorite.
She's just very nice. She's a super nice person. Her father says that when he says, quote, as a little girl, she would come up to me all dolled up to go to church, and she would say, am I pretty? And I would say, yes, but what's more important than being pretty? And she would say, being nice.
Oh,
that's the type of girl she is. She grows up. She's a very pretty young lady. Like, she's not, not an ugly person by any stretch of the imagination. She's a pretty young girl, but she knows that personality is important, and she's really nice. Just a sweet person that everybody seems to like.
I wish I had that relationship with my daughter.
Yeah, right?
Do I look pretty? Yeah, you do. But what's more important? She go, what's with all the fucking questions?
I was going to say, your daughter would be like, oh, fuck yourself. What are you asking me this shit for?
Is there a test on this asshole?
You going to Chipotle for me or what? I asked that fucking burrito an hour ago, and you'd be like, sorry. She'd be like, hurry up, Jimmy Whisman.
She hates Chipotle. She just grabbed my phone and go, shut up, Dick. There. I'm Uber Eatsing right now.
Oh, okay.
On my phone? All right.
Yeah, you're paying for this. Who do you think's paying for it? Me?
Charge up to my card, kiddo.
Jesus.
Love you too. Shut up, Dick.
Yeah, this is a nice thing. This is in Missouri in the 70s. They're nice people. These people, I guess, square. Is what I would call the whole arrangement too.
Great way of raising a kid though. To get her,
nice.
She sounds fantastic.
She is, and Bruce has a girlfriend that he ends up marrying named Becky, and Bruce and Becky, who, like I said, that's Sandra's brother and his girlfriend. They would always double date with Stephen. They double date with them and Stephen and Sandra, and they would. It was nice.
Fun,
it's the way it worked. After high school, they get married in June of 1980. June 14th, 1980, they marry in Windsor, Missouri. Sandra and Stephen. It's very middle America. John Cougar Mellencamp married just after high school type of thing. Start a family. Sandra is apparently the only girl that Steve ever dated.
Really?
He never had another girlfriend.
Okay.
He was like 16 when they met, and he didn't have anybody see. He might have liked a girl or whatever, but he never had like a girlfriend before. So
she's shorts and hairy thighs.
Yeah, it's his first girlfriend. She doesn't mind the ball popping out. She's being nice. She's a very understanding young lady. She gets it when you have a tuft.
There is something real difficult about like having, because I've been hairy since I was 8th grade. There is something real difficult about wearing shorts and having like the back of your leg hairy, the back of your thigh,
thick leg hair
on the back side, like because you see that and you go, oh, there's
luckily when we grew up, it wasn't,
the shorts were so long.
The shorts were, you could have had
thank you, Chris Webber.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Jesus
thank you,
Christ.
Fab Five there of Michigan, Jalen Rose.
Howard, you hero.
Thank you, guys.
God damn it.
Because otherwise, everyone would have had their hairy back thighs. The 70s was a time of hairy back thighs.
It's tough.
It really was.
Thanks to the Burt Reynolds making chest hair sexy, but leg hair was fucking never sexy.
And that is why everyone needs a T-hole for their B-hole, everybody. See, you got to keep bringing it back to talking points. That's the thing with politics. We're going to get that down. It'd be different otherwise.
Constantly with and that's why.
And even if it doesn't connect it.
Right.
Fucking connect it. Who cares? It's a sound bite. They'll only get that part. They won't get the part before it.
They don't get the hairy back of your thighs.
No, they don't care.
They don't care.
They'll just hear, he's saying it, and he does have a point.
He has a great point.
That's it. So just bring it around to your point. That's politics. See? Look at that. So they dated through the rest of high school, and then they went to junior college, and they dated through junior college. Like I said, they married. They moved to Bartlesville after they get married. Steve gets a job with Phillips Petroleum Company. Like that's around there. Get a job with the big oil company, and we'll settle down and we'll get a house. He completed his degree at Bartlesville Wesleyan.
Oh, so he's
College.
got a
He's got a degree. He's an accountant.
Yeah.
He's a CPA. He's a certified public accountant. Did very well. Passed his examination on the first try after he got his degree. He's been over the course of his life, either one of them, the only trouble they ever have is Steve has a couple of speeding tickets. And they're not even like, you were going 90 in a school zone. Right. It's like, 50 and a 40. Look at you. Paid his $80 and moved on. So Steve is the highest rated accountant at in his unit at Phillips there.
Okay.
So he's very good at his job.
He is the shit in accounting.
He absolutely is. He's very good. He's considered extremely reliable and extremely diligent and, good at his work here. So they're both very much into church.
Yeah.
They're into the First Assembly of God Church there in Bartlesville they go to. Steve is the treasurer of the church.
Of course.
He's an accountant.
Brilliant.
Perfectly willing to volunteer his time.
Who the fuck else?
Yeah, and he's willing to do it.
Yeah.
He's willing to volunteer his time, for the church. And Sandra is also active in the mission program there. So they do that together as well.
May as well. She's kind of shit.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. If you're going to send someone out to try to sell them on your religion, you send her out. You send the nice person that go, geez, I would like to hang out with other people that nice.
And then get the donations and have her old man count the money.
That's how it works. Sandra here, she was taking classes through Rogers State. I think it was like correspondence stuff to try to get her degree as well as they grow into this here. Sandra went to work eventually here. They're going to have 3 little boys, by the way, too. 3 little boys. By 1990, they're married. They have 3 little boys. At that time, they're about 2, 3, and 5 ish in that ballpark.
Cranking them out.
Cranking out the little boys.
They're almost due for a 4th.
That's what I mean.
At that pace.
and that's what people would try to do. They get married, they get settled, they get their jobs, and they have kids, and they're very much of that time. Sandra goes to work at Dillard's.
Yeah.
You know Dillard's, the department store. If you don't know, it's
great
like
pants.
basically Macy's, same type of thing. She goes to work at Dillard's. Dillard's goes to work at Sandra. Sandra goes to work at Dillard's. She wanted to buy an electric sweeper. I don't know what an electric sweeper
They
is.
didn't have
Like a vacuum?
Yeah. Isn't that a fucking...
I guess it's a kind of vacuum.
an electric sweeper?
It sounds like a stand-up dustbuster. I don't know.
That's what it is.
Like a 70s or 80s
Where
type
you plug it. It's like a stand-up vacuum. It's the flat top thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I don't know what the hell it is, but she goes to work to try to save enough money to buy the sweeper.
Okay.
So that's how that works here. But come 1990, when Mother's Day comes around, Steve bought her the sweeper for Mother's Day.
What a guy.
What a present.
Jesus.
Here you go.
Yeah. You made it.
You made it.
Yeah.
There you go, darling. Now sweep the house.
Keep this shithole clean,
And
would ya?
what a different era it was. She was like, awesome. She was excited about it. Try that now. I got you an Electrolux sweeper. That's what it was. It'd be like, what?
Any appliance, any
Fuck
shit
you
that
get
has
me?
to do with keeping this house. They're like, are you...
That
fuck
shit isn't
you.
for me. You like clean floors? Oh, fuck, then why the fuck did you get it for me then? I'll get that shit for you for Father's Day.
Wait till Father's Day comes around and I get you, I don't know, a new blender, you fuck.
We all like clean stores
Right.
or clean floors. What the hell are we doing here? This is my gift because I get the privilege of using it. Gee, thanks.
I'm going to get you a microwave to make my goddamn leftovers.
Jesus Christ. You get me a cooking class too? Thanks.
Unreal.
Jesus Christ. So she's taking classes and doing that, but she stays working at the department store at Dillard's here. She is known as such a dedicated mother. Everyone in the church, everyone in her work, her neighbors, all talks about her kids constantly, lives for her kids. It's all she cares about. Are her kids, raising them correctly, and just being there for them, being a good mom. She's known as an amazing mom.
Sure.
Now their marriage, they're coming up on their 10th wedding anniversary. Their 10th wedding anniversary is going to be June 14th, 1990.
She's going to get herself a nice stove.
Well, she's going to get herself a stove. I don't know. Maybe the floors aren't clean enough after the sweeper. Who knows, Jimmy? She might get a mop. We don't know. Fingers crossed on that fucking mop. I don't even know what to say about this.
Your supply of mop and glow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Darling, thank you.
Happy
wow.
10.
That makes me horny. Has never been said.
They say for
mop and glow makes me horny. Has never been said once.
They say for your 10th anniversary, I'm supposed to get you something shiny. So here's some mop and glow. Make my fucking floor shiny. Shine
that linoleum. For our 10th anniversary, you get shiny linoleum.
Shine that sticky tile.
If you choose to shine it, because I'm not doing it. That was basically what he said.
Unbelievable.
But they're coming up on their 10th anniversary. They have 3 kids. They've been working and going to school and doing all this stuff. Their marriage starts to have difficulties, we'll say, like anybody's marriage.
10 years is tough, man.
10 years, you're hitting us, especially with 3 kids. Yeah, that's the thing. 3 is different than 2. We each have 2, and that takes a toll.
I lasted 9 years.
That's what I mean. 3, you're outnumbered, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
especially when they're that close at 8, 2, 3, and 6. Oh. Wow, that is
when
like
you've got
tornado.
2 and you can like separate the problem when they fight. You can
there,
one parent.
What the fuck are you doing with him?
Right. Then what?
You gotta kick him away every time you go. Hold on
the wall.
Get over here.
And it's 3 boys. Are you out of your fucking
3
mind?
little boys.
Oh my
beating
God.
each other, hitting their heads on shit. The constant fear of concussions. And you need like like an open room at the ER waiting for you because it's going to happen a lot.
You've replaced something in your house because of them.
Absolutely. Because the 6-year-old threw the 3-year-old through the drywall or some shit. Yeah, that's what's going to happen when you.
The little one tried to push the TV over on the big one.
On the big one. Right. And just got his leg and crushed it. Now it's a problem. So Sandy's been trying to spice it up. They've been trying to spice it up. It's a matter of the marriage is getting kind of. They don't have a lot of sex. They don't have a lot of intimacy. Yeah. So, like, Sandra talks about it with her friends. Sandy will, she knows a couple girls at Dillard she talks about it with and stuff like that of, like, how do I spice my... Not like I'm complaining.
Right.
Steve wants the marriage to be more sexual and stuff, and she's fine either way, but she wants to make him happy, and she's like, well, let's try. I want my marriage to succeed. So she's asking her friends, like, should I get lingerie? Should I do this? What would be a good, like, kind of a, to try to spice it up a little bit, whatever.
I like her moves, but Sandra, we're all different. So what her husband likes, your husband might be entirely
that's the
different.
Other thing.
Your husband plays tennis.
What the chick next to you thinks your husband gets your husband horny might not be correct. But you should know what gets your husband horny if you've been married for 10 years.
Her husband might like getting spit in the face. You know what I mean?
If you've been together, husband, wife, either way, if you've been, whatever it is, if you've been in a relationship with someone for over 10 years, a sexual relationship, you should know what they're into.
That's a great
I would
point.
assume.
Yeah.
But that they're not real open about that sort of thing. So it's not her fault.
No.
They're just not, they're a little bit, they're
subdued.
They're subdued. They're a middle American church-going couple. That
sometimes the church teaches you not to talk like that.
It's just not. Well, I don't even know if it's the church or if it's just how they're brought up. They're both a little shy about it, and they're both. It's not a matter of they don't sit down and go, all right, what are you into? What's your fantasy? Well, I want a truck driver to come over. That doesn't happen.
Right.
Like they don't do shit like that.
I want you to not tell me when you're coming home. I'm just going to leave the door unlocked. And then you just come in and fucking just ravage me.
With a mask on and what? Jesus.
What the fuck is happening?
Jesus, you're freakier than fucking hey, I didn't know you were into that. God damn. Guess I should have talked to you more.
Right.
They're planning, their big move is they're planning a trip for their anniversary.
Okay.
It's 10-year anniversary. It's a big one. So they're planning to go away for the 15th, 16th, and 17th of June of 1990.
Yeah.
She's been getting lingerie prepared for it. This is going to be the big spice up.
How far are they going?
Here, not very far.
Yeah.
They're going to like fucking Tulsa, but it doesn't matter. No, they're going to Missouri, actually.
Okay.
They're going to Missouri where
home.
they're from. They've made reservations at a hotel.
Yeah.
Sandra's into it. He's excited. She's telling her coworkers about it, and like I said, asking advice about lingerie and things like that, and probably picking some up from Dillard's while she's there. And they were going to they're trying to work out how many nights they want, but they figure it's going to be 3 nights and it's going to be good, and they're looking forward to it. They made hotel reservations. The 2 oldest children went to her parents in Missouri, dropped them off on the way. We're going to drop them off on the way, and the youngest they were going to take him and drop him off with other people and then go celebrate their anniversary, and that's how it was going to be without children.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It's difficult.
Especially like if your parents don't live in the city you live and you don't really have any built-in babysitters.
Yeah.
For a young couple with 3 kids that both work and go to school and shit like that, it's very hard for them to get 3 days with no children where they can concentrate.
Logistically, it's tough to coordinate getting them all to different sitters. Because it's even more impossible to get.
It's impossible.
Forget getting 2 to one person. Getting 3 is.
And then what if one of them's sick?
Right.
Whole trip's off. What are you supposed to do? You can't leave a sick kid with somebody.
Right.
That's the thing. So it's like there's so many.
Pull out of her and get back in the car.
Jesus Christ! There's so many factors there. It's ridiculous how many factors there are to contend with here. So they're going to do all of that. They're just trying, you know what I mean? The sexual relationship is not good. Steve talks to his friends too about it. And he's like, everyone he talks to, he's like, I love my wife. He always says, everybody says, I love my wife. And she says she loves him, but it's like, I want more of a sexual relationship. I want to, he's like 30 and he's starting to maybe. I'm starting to know what I dig and I want to get into it.
That's the other point too.
That's the thing.
Getting into a relationship in high school, you don't even know how you like to come yet.
That's
you have
the thing.
No fucking idea what sex turns you on.
They didn't really explore, and I'm sure
porn isn't near as prevalent.
That's the other thing. They couldn't figure out what they're into. I don't know if these 2 were really exploring their own bodies back in the day or whatever. If they were figuring themselves out, or if that was like against the Lord, I'm not sure. So
don't even know if these 3 kids were planned. They could have just been. It accidentally went off a little early.
I figured stork. That was my. They went down to the river and they came floating by in a little basket, and that was how it worked. And they went, "Oh, look at that! 3 little boys."
I would be.
Pluck the 3 little boys. Let the rest float by. I think that's what they did.
I would be frustrated as hell if I got 3 kids and I didn't even come right yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you didn't even get a good one yet.
Yeah. And then they're both. And that's the thing. They both want to fix it.
Sure.
It's not like she's like, "Well, fuck you. I don't care. Go whatever." She's like, "What can I do?" You know what I mean? She's trying to be a good partner. He's trying to be a good partner. They're both trying. It's just people have a tough time in marriages. So he writes her a letter. Okay, Stephen writes Sandra a letter.
Oh yeah,
on April 30th.
He can't say it.
Well, yeah, this is him saying what he wants here, and I feel like
so hard to say out loud.
I don't think that he could sit down with his own wife, who he's known since he was 15, in a fucking living room and just talk.
Right.
So he had to write her a letter,
and he's afraid that whatever he's about to say, he
doesn't want to see that look on her face.
He doesn't want to say something that's so far out of bounds that now she judges him for the rest of his life.
He's like, oh, I don't want her going to church telling everyone I'm a pervert.
Well, the worst part, you can't write it either, because
then it's
if
proof.
You say it out right,
you can deny that. Yeah,
right. If you say it out loud, then you have
it's like us denying we said something. It's recorded.
Plausible deniability of being like, no, I said this.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say come on your face. I said I want to squeeze your tits.
Yeah, there's a big difference. I said I want to come. You have a beautiful face. It was very different. They don't go together.
I want to come and look into your face. That's what I said.
while looking on and at your face. So he says here, quote, Sandra, I am really feeling down today, and need to get to quote get this off my chest. This is really hard for me because I love you so much, but I feel it's in our best interest to say. First of all, I love you very much.
How many times are you going to say it?
Twice in the first 3 lines. He's so like, listen, I don't want... But that's the thing.
So hard to say this out loud.
He's trying not to make her feel bad, which is... Look, I love you. I'm not saying, look, you're a piece of shit and you don't fuck me right. And that's
terrible wife.
We're doing this together, is I think what he's trying to say. First of all, I love you very much. It's a sentence right there. That is honest and from my heart. I also know that inside that you love me. I don't doubt that. However, you said some things this past weekend that really hurt me and continues to bother me. Friday night, while I was working so hard to make love to you, you said I was, quote, oversexed and that I was not compatible with you. So, I guess while he was trying to fuck her on a Friday night, she called him oversexed.
Yeah, he's like, come on, baby, I want you. She's like, ew.
Yeah. So... And that's tough. If you're married and your partner doesn't want to have sex with you, it's really difficult because you have no other options.
Right.
It's not like you can be like, all right, fine, I'll go. Okay, I'll go sit over here now.
Tug?
That's the option. Right. That's it. So that's a
we share the same bed too. So if you don't want to fuck me, I got to fuck me. You're gonna have to watch this. This is terrible.
Uncomfortable.
This is not a good situation.
And then it's a snowball, and there's people are mad and back and forth, and it's not a snowball. There's no snowballs, and that's the problem here. These people could use some kink in their lives. No, but it is though, and then that you feel you're upset with them. And then they feel like that's all you want from them. There's this awful cycle that happens when people, they're not doing shit together. So I see he's oversexed here. You don't want to hear that from your wife. You're like, I feel like I want your sex as much as you're sexed.
I just want to be sexed at all.
However much sex drive you have is however much sex drive you have. So to have someone go, you're oversexed is like, well, what am I supposed to do with that then?
Yeah, I'm oversexed. We haven't even sexed once.
So
I
guess live with that for the next 50 years. Boy. Enjoy. And we're not compatible. Whether you intended to or not, those words really hit me. That on Friday night, plus the 2 separate pieces of news I received Saturday, and it all adds up to a seemingly overwhelming weekend. I don't believe that either one of us is oversexed. He keeps putting it in quotes. Yeah, it's like it's only okay to do. I'm not saying this. Right. I'm quoting you. Right. I wouldn't say those words. We have made love only 6 to 7 times in the first 17 weeks of 1990.
Oh,
this guy's got
this poor
fucking calendar where, so that's every 2 to 3 weeks ish. That's not.
I will give him credit. He has done his research.
He's got a
knows
calendar.
What week we're into.
Yeah, he started in January. He's like, I got to keep a log of everything because I'm gonna have to throw this in her face in about 4 months. So I better have accurate numbers. I don't want to say we only have sex every couple of weeks, and she's like, no, it's more than that. I need numbers. 6 to 7 times, 6 to 7. 6 or 7? Which one?
That tells me that he thinks she finished also 6 times, and he finished
He's
7
like, hand
times.
job count? And one night you were like, I'll just jerking. You were like, I was like, all right, does that count?
I guess that's 7.
6 to 7?
Yeah.
For 17 weeks of 1990. That's not even once every 2 weeks. If we weren't compatible, don't you think we would have discovered it during the 4 years we dated? I think we have gotten into a rut and aren't looking too hard to get out of it. Yeah. God intended for a man and wife to express their love for each other in ways other than words.
Yeah.
He has brought God into this. You know you're desperate for pussy when you're invoking God at this point. What all of my other arguments have just, I don't have them. They're being exhausted.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say. God wants you to give it up, dear. That's what it is. God says, spread thy legs and let thy husband plow. Right? Isn't that in one of the Psalms? I believe. I don't fucking know. It's right next to T-ball for every beehole, I feel like.
I don't know what I understand that in the Bible there is something about you must fuck the man or you must fuck
That's because
the
they
woman.
want more people to be more people in their religion.
Right.
So that's how it works. Right. You got to fucking be fruitful and fucking make more of us.
The point that I am looking at, though, is I don't care what any book says. 19 weeks and 6, maybe 7 times.
17. It's not enough fucking.
Not anywhere near it.
It's not enough sex.
That should be at least. There's 16 more weeks to fill.
That's a lot of sex.
Not near enough.
Not enough sex at all.
But this is why getting.
But also with 3 little kids too.
Yeah, I get it.
You don't.
Time is not. Yeah. It's of the essence.
On a Wednesday night, that shit ain't happening.
No.
She gets home from Dillard's at 9:30 at night. He worked all day. He's had the 3 kids all evening. He's tired. The kids trying to get them to bed and baths and all that shit. And
he gets to bed. He has jelly in his hair.
Exactly. And it's not.
It's not his
or hers.
It's strawberry.
So it's Smuckers.
Right.
So
peanut butter down his face, jelly in his hair, and he quote unquote put the kids to bed.
Yeah, on like a Friday night, that is like, they're in bed. We don't have to wake up in the morning. This is go time.
Till 11, and I'll wait that pussy out.
He's trying. Not happening. No. So God intended for a man and wife.
This is why you don't get married so early.
Yeah, because you don't know.
You got to figure out what you need and what you want.
Who you are.
Right.
Never mind what anyone else is or what you want. You don't even know what he. Even if you know what you want at the time, you don't know who you are. So how the fuck you don't know what you're going to want in 10 years.
Exactly.
You're such a different person at 30 from 20. It's not even fucking. It's not even funny.
I'm a different person from 38 to 37.
That's what I mean.
Holy shit.
There's a lot of growth to be had. So do it first. So he says, quote, verbal expression is something that I have always tried to do and at times have missed receiving. So he's saying her words. She doesn't have enough words here. But words alone doesn't cut it. Love is to be expressed to each other. Obviously, sex plays a big part of that, but it is not the only thing. A hug as you walk by, a kiss when you're not trying to pull away from me, holding hands or a playful touch, a surprise note or card, or something that lets the other one know that they have been thought of or are all important and expressive of the deep down feelings we have for each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blow me while I brush my teeth.
This is all shit that if you went to marriage counseling, they would tell you to do.
Right.
It's all exactly what they'd say. Hey, try to fucking this. Leave her a little note.
Spontaneous shit.
Let her wake up in the morning to a little note that says, oh, wow, this feels good to you and stuff like that, or anything. Like you said, grab her over here. Grab her ass in the kitchen.
Hell
hey,
yeah.
look at you. Bring her in. Give her
Pass
a fucking
her in the
kiss.
hallway.
Grab his ass when he's out.
Oh, yeah.
Do it up.
Yeah.
What are we fucking doing here? You're married to each other. This is what you got. Yeah. Fucking do it.
Some ball tapping.
Plow those fields. Let's go. T-hole for your B-hole.
Why are you married if you don't want to fuck?
That's what I mean. I only fucked 3 times. So, it makes sense what he's saying. That's all. He's even, I feel, approaching it in a good way.
He's trying.
That's not, he didn't be like, listen, you don't fucking want me, and this is bullshit, and, give that fucking ass up, or I'm going to go fuck the chick at the bar. Yeah. That's not what he's saying.
He didn't make any threats.
He just said, I love you, and I would like us to express ourselves.
Jesus said.
Better. So this is all fine, and she was open to it, too. She got this letter from him. We'll finish the letter. She got that from him, and she said, wow, okay, like, I understand. And then, like I said, they planned to go away. She started buying lingerie. They were they're trying to figure it out here. So these are decent people, is what I'm getting at. He says, quote, you express the deep down feelings we have for each other. You don't know how devastating it is to a man to not be able to sexually please his woman and to feel like he has to beg for what should be his to receive. I don't like the way that's worded.
I don't like that at all.
That doesn't. No. His to receive sounds not okay. No. But I see what he's getting at. The first part, I understand that, and then this is fine. But yeah,
he doesn't feel like a man.
He doesn't. No. Yeah, he feels very emasculated. He feels like he has to beg. He has to beg for sex, and then when he gets it, it's not. She doesn't even care.
Only for him, not for her. And that feels shitty.
She's just being like, "Fine, get it over with," which is not exactly.
That's the worst word.
No one wants that.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, great. Thanks. Wow. Terrific.
Honesty.
This is fun.
I'll tell you honesty.
This is a lot of fun.
I said to my ex-wife one night that we hadn't had sex in a couple weeks, and I was like, it's been a rough week. And I was like, what do you think? And she was like, ugh, get it over with. And I was like, well, I'll tug in the bathroom. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll do it over the toilet and fucking divorce you in a year.
Who cares?
That was hard. The most emasculating words you can hear is get it over with.
Nobody wants that. No. And for a woman, too, if there was get it over with, you'd be like,
right.
What?
Why do
you want me that bad, do you?
God.
Thanks a lot.
Boy, oh boy.
No one wants to hear that at all. No. I mean, on a practical sense, I guess it would be like if, hey, can you grab that for me type of thing.
Or you know what?
Where they're like, yeah, just stick it in. I don't care. I'm playing video games, so whatever.
Saying that somewhere where we might get caught in like a hot way.
That's
Holy
completely
shit.
different. Now we're talking, all right, get it over with before the guard turns back around. That's a different story. That's a totally different deal. Before the waiter comes back, that's different.
Get number 6 over with before we get caught.
This
that's
is in
hot
their
as
house.
Shit. Right.
This is
terrible.
So he says, I should be able to receive, quote, you are my woman. This is next sentence. Oh boy, I don't know why it's funny.
The words.
And I haven't yet been able to truly please you. I don't know what to do about it. Sex was given to be an avenue of expressing the love between spouses, not just for procreation. Like, yeah, we've had these kids, but there's more fucking to be done.
Right. Have you heard of dolphins?
Come on. No greater responsibility is on the one party over another to see that happens. We're in this together. That says to me, that's okay. I think the early bad experiences have made you tend to be inhibited, and my being understanding of those experiences has led you to be satisfied with less. Okay. That tells me early experiences. That's before him.
Okay.
So that means
trauma.
Somebody diddled her.
Yeah.
Somebody did something to her when she was younger.
When she didn't ask for it.
Pre-15.
Right.
When she didn't ask either a person. I don't know if it's an older. We don't know that. Right. We can't speculate.
It was somebody that
she had a bad experience in a sexual realm as a child. Apparently, because under 15 is a child. Absolutely. And so he's saying that I've been understanding of that, and that has led us to this rut of where hey, I get it that you're not take it easy, and she's used to that, and it's never come around to hey, let's work it out together.
Right.
That's what he's trying to say.
And early 80s with a lot of church in their lives,
90s,
they weren't really encouraged to go work out problems like that.
No,
that wasn't a thing
to seek like a therapist to
that's
talk
my
to
point.
them. The pastor would be like, well, do you want to have more children?
Right.
Or you don't want sexual advice from a church guy.
Right.
That's
sexual advice from a church guy is forgive him and let's move forward.
Yeah, forget him.
What?
You should, if you don't like it, think about other things while it's happening.
Right.
And
well, why would you think about something like that? Why would you do that
but
to
she
yourself?
Just doesn't want me. I don't want to get on top of her. So what? Just hump away and be done with it. I mean, that's not what you want to hear.
Right.
So he says, led you to be satisfied with less. I want more for us. We don't have to be, quote, X-rated stars to have a fulfilling relationship. I'd never qualify anyway. I guess he's saying it has a little
I kind of would like it.
That's just, no, I think anyway, that's in parentheses with double exclamation points. He's making a self-deprecating dick joke.
Yeah. And I got a tiny dick. But he's also saying right there, although I dig it.
Yeah, he goes, I'd never qualify anyway. LOL. There's no LOL yet. That's the problem in 1990.
Yeah.
Or like a emoji. a fucking like crazy laughing emoji. But we do need to be more active, open-minded, and adventuresome, and less restricted by some preconceived ideas. Okay, he's making his case. It is supposed to be enjoyable and pleasurable and, quote, special.
He's going too far.
He's trying here. He's selling it hard. Yeah. He's really selling it. I would like to see...
More words?
Oh, he's got more. I would like to see each of us be more responsible for initiating things. Like, I'd like you to want to, act like you want to fuck me once in a while. To be responsible for seeing that the other's needs are met and for being understanding. When you make the comment that I sure am hot or sweaty, it's because I'm working to get things to happen. If it was less work for each of us to make things happen, then each of us would probably enjoy it more. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
in the middle of
if it's labored,
like, you're so sweaty.
Yeah. This is not.
They are.
This is so sweaty. Get it over with. Right. You oversexed my. Yeah, I mean, they might have grown apart in that way, or they never grew together in that way.
Or he's not making her horny the way she wants to be made horny.
I don't know if she knows how she wants to be horny.
Right.
And I don't know if he knows how he wants to be horny. I don't know if either one of these people know anything about their sexuality.
And the way that either of them like it may just conflict too hard.
That's the other thing.
They may not be good for each other.
Who knows? They didn't know that beforehand, so because they weren't. Got to know that shit before you get married. Yeah. Is what I'm getting at.
These kids were conceived to words like "You're so sweaty." Are you done yet?
Are you done yet? And so I promise I won't be asking or expecting it 3 times each week. I don't feel like our church duties, your working at Dillard's or going to school, has led to this. He doesn't feel. He's not blaming her stuff.
You don't want it 2 or 3 times a week.
He's saying I won't be asking for it. Yeah, he's like, I'm not asking for it 2 or 3.
God.
Just like once a week, do every couple weeks, throw one at me and act like you enjoy it is what he's getting at here. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
I have been feeling like this for some time, and little bits and pieces have come out every once in a while.
At least 19 weeks.
At least 19
17,
weeks.
whatever.
Little bits and pieces. Yeah. I am not mad or angry or anything of the kind, and I hope you won't be angry with me for being honest and open with you. I don't think anyone has any reason to be angry here.
James, this is the worst letter ever written.
It's terrible.
This is not going to get you what you want.
No, I love you, and that's why I'm telling you this. We are young, healthy, have a beautiful family, and have so much going for us. I care about you and want us to grow together. As in any relationship that's worth anything, it would take work and effort of both of us. We have let some of the romance slip away from our relationship. We need some excitement, something to put the spark back in. I'm willing to try to find that spark. Please, let's look together. Mm-hmm. That's his letter to me. So
it's a bad letter.
That's a man pleading,
begging.
Holy
shit, is he begging?
They have opposite of what they want, but she took this and said, "Okay, I'd like to try. I don't know how, but I'm going to try." Because she doesn't know how. She doesn't know what she's supposed to do this. Neither of these two know anything to initiate. That's the
biggest problem.
Neither of them are bad people here. They just don't know what to do.
The biggest problem I have with it is that the letter gives complaints and grievances with no solution and no answer.
No, other than we need this to be the end game.
I need pussy. Yeah. That's all he said.
I need that. I want us to feel like this. I don't know how to fix that. But he does say we should need to work on it together. So he doesn't say like you need to do this and you need to do that. He's like, I'm willing to work, and the letter's terribly written, and he doesn't plan it out real well.
Said so.
That fact that he was like, look, this, and this. Even God wants me to get laid. Do you understand? Even God is up there going, why aren't you fucking Stephen?
Right.
Why Stephen shall get his dick wet? That's not. Even God is saying this. Like, that's his thing.
What's the song about? Because the Bible tells me so.
I don't know.
Whatever that song is, that's what he should be singing to her. Just write it and then throw because the Bible tells me so.
Don't you know anything?
It's some fucking Sunday school rhyme.
Oh, man. So Becky... though Becky is at this point sister-in-law, that is her brother's wife that they double dated with. She says that like Sandra never spoke bad about Stephen or never anything. Quote, Sandra was so calm about things that we never knew anything was wrong. She was always trying to help everyone else, and you never heard her complain. So through all this, other than like a couple of her friends that she talked about of, should I get lingerie? How do I spice it up? That sort of thing. She never complained. She's never like, fucking Steve is gross. He's totally a pervert. It was never any of that. So
he tried to put his tongue down there.
Oh my God, Jesus! It felt terrible. So
what do you want of that? There's a friend that works at Dillard's that like gave her all kinds of advice. She was like,
that's
you whore.
Filthy. That's filthy. And then they never talked again. Except she sent her like an invite to church.
Yeah. Well, she sent her like pleasure party invitations.
You need Jesus. Yeah. She RSVP'd a dildo party with "You need Jesus" with the address of the church. Jesus Christ. So June 11th, 1990 comes around. They're going away in a few days. June 14th, the morning of the 15th, they're leaving. 1990, Steve arrives for work in the morning like usual, 10 to 8. He gets there. He's supposed to be there at 8, so he's there 10 to 8. Old Steve, reliable guy. At noon, he went and bought some shower announcements for some friends. I don't know what the shower. I think they were going to have a party of some kind,
a baby or a wedding.
Oh, well, I don't know if the anniversary. The shower is a weird way to put it.
That's usually a baby shower or a wedding.
They're not having a baby, or they're not getting married. So
really?
I don't understand.
What kind of shower?
I don't know what that is. He waited outside his office, and then he said it was a nice sunny day. He hung out outside. It was a warm day. He left work at about 5 p.m. He's driving his Oldsmobile here. He gets home at about 5:20. And Sandra is all dressed up and ready to go to work. She's got to go to Dillard's. She works about 4 hours part-time at Dillard's every night. Not every night, but a few nights a week.
Sure.
And she was supposed to be there at about 5:30 that night. And she had even made Steve dinner. He got home from work. She's on her way out the door with her clothes on, ready to go to Dillard's. But she fixed him a pork fritter and a salad.
That's a lot of work.
So, it's a nice meal he's got there. So he's got a nice meal to eat. Wow, thanks. Shit.
That was nice.
Holy cow. Thank you very much. So she's going to work. She's going to Dillard's. And at this point here, the smallest, the kids are playing, and Steve ends up getting some French fries. He makes some French fries in the oven there, and for the kids and him, and they split all that. Sandra goes off to work. Steve and the kids, they kind of eat the food a little bit here, and then after they finish eating, Steve changes into some like old shitty clothes and goes out and mows the front lawn. Okay. So he goes out, mows the yard. He didn't mow the backyard, just the front and side yards here. He was getting the lawnmower on the garage, out of just mowing around, has the kids in the yard playing while he's mowing, and whatever. He said after he finished the lawn, he said he gave his son a bath, he took a shower, he cleaned up. There's lawn shit all over him.
Yep.
It's June, it's warm.
Oh boy,
you know how that is.
Oklahoma.
It's Oklahoma. It's sticky.
Yeah.
Humidity big time.
With grass in the air.
Oh yeah, grass. He's itchy. Oh man, he got done with the lawn about 7:30. Okay. He got, like I said, gets his kids cleaned up, and he goes to see Sandra at the mall at Dillard's, so the kids can see their mother. So he stops by and says, "Oh hi mom," for a couple minutes. Kind of what they do sometimes here, and then they leave to go home. And after a minute, he realizes he's almost home, but he realizes he's forgotten the keys to the church. He needs the keys to church.
Where are they?
He's the treasurer of the church, and he's supposed to go by to pick up deposit slips and receipts that had been kind of at the end of the day. He's supposed to do that and have them. He does it on Mondays from the offerings that have been made Sunday, and that's what he was going to do that night. So he went back to get his keys.
At the house?
No, back at Dillard's. I think she has the keys.
Okay.
So now this is what he's saying is going on. Now, while all this is going on, at Dillard's, Sandra receives a telephone call from what she thinks is a stranger. Now, I guess her friend took the call, and we'll talk about her impressions of the caller, but then gives the phone to Sandra, and I guess she said she got off the phone and she asked Sandra what happened with the caller, and Sandra said that the caller had asked her where her husband was, and she said, "Gee, I don't know. Isn't he at home?" And at that point, she told him. At that point, she said that he was supposed to be home, and that this person said that he had just called there and there was no answer, and he's not at home. So Sandra, at that point, said she didn't know where he was, and that he's supposed to be coming here in a few minutes. And then she said, "Who is this anyway? What's going on with this? Who are you?" And the person on the phone said that he had gone to school with Steve, and he was looking for Steve. He'd gone to school with him, and she said, "Well, I also went to school with Steve. They went together all to most of high school. So, maybe I know you. Right. Anybody Steve knows, pretty much I know." These two have no... Oh, yeah, that's my buddy from... They don't have buddy from years ago. That's that guy that we know.
We go way back is not a thing.
No, they're kids. So she said, "Maybe I know you. What is that? What's your name?" And Sandra says that he gave her a name, but she couldn't understand him because... She could. Okay. There's going to be words that I'm sorry, but there's no other way to do it because they come up, and this is what the words that she used.
Right.
She said that she couldn't understand it because he sounded retarded.
Okay.
Is the words that she spoke to her coworker, and she said so. She hung up. She didn't recognize him, and she hung up. Okay. So. The woman said she didn't recognize. She hung up, and now this woman that she worked with had taken the call. So she said that it was a raspy voice, but she had no trouble understanding the caller. She said that the voice was there, but I had no trouble understanding the caller. And so that was that. And then the employee says that Steve showed up about 15 to 20 minutes later. And Sandy approached him in the aisle, and they ended up, I guess Sandy was working the costume jewelry bay. And,
So Steve showed up after the phone call?
After the phone call, 15 minutes later.
Who's the raspy Ree?
That's what she doesn't. This woman doesn't know because they're down there.
Okay.
The employee just saw Steve and Sandra talking.
Got it.
She saw they showed up, and she assumed that she told her about that.
The phone call.
Who knows? Also, this woman says that Sandra did not have her glasses on that night. Sandra wears glasses or contacts, depending on her mood, probably, or how much time she has to get ready or whatever. So she's saying that she didn't have her glasses on that night, and she said both her and Sandy punched out at 9:15. She said, quote, "We walked right out. After we punched out, we just immediately turned around and walked back out the doors and walked to our cars." That was that. She said she went straight home. Sandy was in front of her. Sandy turned on to the road that takes her home, and she went the other way, and that was that. So a neighbor of theirs, of Sandra and Steve's here, said about 7 o'clock he went to church. These people everyone's like
that night.
Everyone in this neighborhood is going to and from church at all hours of the day and night. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, to church, from church, picking up missionaries.
You gotta go drop some shit off at the church. You gotta go pick some stuff up at the church.
Literally, this guy went back and forth to the church. He had like people coming in, missionaries coming in for a canoe trip. So he had to like plan this church canoe trip, this guy. Not Stephen, the neighbor. Yeah. He says they went to church, and when they went to church, they saw Stephen outside mowing his grass at about 7 o'clock, like Stephen says. And he says he saw him, and that was that. He said he noticed that at about 9 o'clock later on, this neighbor noticed that Steve was getting into his car at about 9 o'clock. He says he can't say that for sure that he was getting into his car, but he noticed by the way he was facing and the way he was, it looked like he was leaving. You know, if someone's standing outside their car, you can't tell if they're coming or going, but you can kind of tell by their body language what they're doing.
Half in, half out.
It looked like he was going, not coming.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those. You're leaning, you know what I mean? So that's the one neighbor. Saw him out there mowing and doing shit like that when they left to go to church, and they came back from church at 9 and saw, he was getting into the car is what he thought there. Another neighbor said they were trimming their hedges while their wife was on the riding mower in the front yard. Everyone's doing yard work at 7:30. They're going to church and doing yard work. This is a crazy neighborhood. He said that this person peered around a hedge and can see Steve driving the car headed north on Jefferson at 9 o'clock. Okay. So the guy who saw him, what he thought was getting into the car, then this guy saw him driving away. So he was getting into the car, and he's saying that was about 9 o'clock. And then another woman here, one of the neighbors' wives said, or one of the neighbors, not the neighbors' wives, she says that she left church around 9:40, stopped at a gas station and arrived home around 10. And she said that she's 99% sure that both of the Allens' cars were there, Sandra's and Stephen's. Okay. She says she's not 100% sure Sandy's car was there too, but she is 99% sure it was both the cars. And she's 100% sure that Steve's car was there. Okay, that's what she said.
At least one car is for sure home,
and probably two is what she's saying here, but definitely Steve's. That's she's saying if anyone was missing, it was Sandra's, but she thinks Sandra's was there too. She did say that she thought that it was a little odd that it was about 10 o'clock and there was no lights on in the house across the street. She said at that time, usually activity going on, they're getting kids in bed, there's lights on, shit's active at 10 o'clock at night in a house with people in it. So she said it was kind of strange. She thought the lights, for all the lights to be out, to be pitch black, like everyone's out cold.
That's wild.
Before 10 o'clock.
I'm single and I live alone, and there's always a light on in my house somewhere before 11.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Another neighbor said about 7 o'clock, he noticed Steve let his son out in the driveway and played with him for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then came out and got in his car, and he and his son left because he has the youngest son with him right now. Okay. The other two kids have already been dropped off with the grandparents in anticipation of the trip they're going to go on in 5 days or 4 days.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, they have like the whole week, and they're keeping the youngest son with them right until they go out on the trip, and then they're dropping him off. So that's how that works. So he's got the youngest son. He's about 2-ish, right. A little younger, little toddler guy. Yeah. Probably about 7:15 or 7:30 this was. And then about 8 or 8:30, this neighbor said she saw Steve drive back to the house. And, that's how that goes. He pulled into the driveway. She believed he got out and went in the house, but she wasn't sure about it. Then she said he got back in the car and left again. Okay. So and that was around 8:30, which could have been 9, which was when other people saw him leaving. Yeah. So he's going back and forth is what we're talking about.
It's a lot of movement.
Yeah. So now Sandra told Steve back at Dillard's, because that's where he was going, back and forth to Dillard's. And she also told her coworker Teresa about that caller said, "Where's your husband Steve? Isn't he home?" and all that sort of thing here. Now, Sandra says to Teresa also that we told how the caller sounded, as we said. And
I love that time.
Yeah, that's the thing. And apparently the caller asked for Sandy Allen, and the only place she's known by Sandy really is at Dillard's, where she wore this nameplate, Sandy Allen. No one else really knew her by Sandy except for Dillard's.
And the caller called her Sandy.
And the caller called her Sandy Allen, looking for Sandy Allen. So they thought maybe it was somebody who went to Dillard's, because also there was some weirdness. A short time before this, her coworker Teresa received an obscene photograph in her car, like slipped through the window, a crack in the window.
Oh, the early dick pic.
Yeah, this was
a Polaroid.
It was literally a fucking photograph of a man naked from the waist down.
Oh, that is awful.
So just here's my dick slipped in your car window. I don't know what. At least when now. Dick pics aren't my thing, but like if someone sends a dick pic, I feel like, I don't know the psychology behind it, but I feel like they are hoping, in best case scenario, that the recipient of this will say, "Ooh, great dick, can I have some of that? Awesome."
Yeah, right.
That's the hope, I feel like, not just like, now you see my dick.
Right.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's like an assaultive thing, like, haha, I've, made you see my dick. I don't know what it is.
Like an indecent exposure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that, maybe that is. Maybe it's like a flashing type thing. Maybe. I'm not sure, but this seems to be, because there's not like a phone number on the back of it, like, hey, like what you see, call this number. That's
for a good time.
It's just, here's my dick.
There it is.
It's in your car now. Now she's got it. So, it was never established whether the photograph came from Dillard's definitely or not, or if something else, somewhere else, somebody slipped it in.
But been in her car for a while.
Yeah, but you never know. There's a couple of weird things that have happened here in the last couple months, obviously.
Yeah.
And I guess they had a conversation, and they talked about what Steve was going to do when they're at Dillard's. Steve told Sandra that he was going to go to the church after he got the keys, and then he was going to get the youngest boy a drink at Sonic. Sonic, the burger place here. It's the 2-year-old there, and it was also hot. It was June, so he was going to get there playing outside.
Get him one of those slushies.
Yeah. So Sandra asked, "Would you get me a cherry limeade?" And Steve said, "Yeah." So he said, "Yeah, I'll grab your cherry limeade and come back." Nice guy.
Yeah.
So Steve goes to the church, and he picks up the financial shit there. Didn't see anyone at the church, but then he ends up going to Sonic and on Frank Phillips Road, of course.
My God.
Yeah. And he gets the drinks. He got a medium cherry limeade, a kitty grape slush, and a medium Pepsi for himself.
Nailed it.
Yeah, he knew what he was getting.
And then headed back over to Frank Phillips Mall.
If you're giving a 2-year-old a grape slush at 9:00, you're asking for a long fucking night.
You're asking for trouble.
You're asking for that kid is going to rob a fucking bank. You can't. He's going to go crazy. He's going to steal the car. I swear to God, you cannot give a 2-year-old
that time of night.
That's insane.
Good Lord.
No sugar after 7.
It's either he spins himself out in 10 minutes, or this is going to last like a mushroom trip.
You're going to get a call from the sheriff at 3 a.m. saying we caught your kid driving through a fucking cornfield somewhere.
In an Oldsmobile. I own an Oldsmobile.
With a mailman hanging off his bumper. Should say dragging off his bumper. Right. So yeah, it's not a good thing here. So he gets all that. The receipt says he was at 9:13. That was him at Sonic there. He ends up bringing the drink back. When he goes back, he says at Sonic he ran into somebody that he knew. So he talked for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't get back to the Sonic is what he says till about 9:25. Okay. When he gets back to the Sonic, Sandra's already gone. Okay. So because they checked out at 9:30, they punched out, or 9:15, they punched out. So she waited a few minutes. He didn't come back.
Back to Dillard's
with the cherry limeade. Yeah. So she said, fuck it, I'll get the cherry limeade at home, and goes home. So that's how this works. So then Steve says he got back there, saw there was no car there, turned around, went back home. Okay. So now everybody's going home. Sandra should already be at home, and Steve should be arriving to Sandra being at home. So he says he arrived that night with his 2-year-old there. As he pulled into his driveway, he says he noticed a shadowy figure of a person on the edge of his patio. He says when the headlights hit this person, he saw this person take off and run from the house.
Oh my God.
That's what he says. So he says he immediately locked his son in the car, locked the door of the car, and went to the house.
Oh boy.
Okay, so he gets out of the car. He said he was concerned. He was, didn't know if there was other people or if maybe somebody else was there. So lock the door of the car, keep the son safe, and go inside here. He says he gets out of the car, leaves the son in the driveway. Sandra's car is there. He says he gets out of the car, sets the drinks down outside. Which we'll talk about it, but later on, these drinks are still on the hood of the car. He goes through the door, which is just off the garage, into the utility room. And proceeds into the kitchen from there. There's a garage and then like a kind of a mud room there, like a utility room. You hang your coats and shit, and then you go into the kitchen from there. He said,
"I'm so scared right now."
There's only 2 lights on: the kitchen light and the dining room light. He says the first thing he sees is Sandra in a pool of blood on the ground.
Oh, that's no good.
Not good at all. He says he runs to her. He yells, "Sandra, Sandra, Sandra." He says he grabs her and, pulls her and tries to like shake her. And you trying to do whatever. He's trying to see wake her up, see if she's alive is what he says. He says he shakes her in an attempt to get a response. He says that, at one point she's moving a little bit and her left arm is like over his shoulder while he's like picking her up, like, trying to hold like you would hold a child, like in your arms like that. He said that, he shook her hard even. He said really hard, like to the point where he felt like he guilty for shaking her too hard. Sure. He said, because he was trying to wake her up.
Damn you.
So then he said, "Oh my God, there might be other people here." So he says that he checked in the other room. He checked in the family room. He says he went through some doors and stepped through them and into the living room. And he saw a broken TV. He saw a door ajar. And everything like that. A door ajar with some broken glass, a broken TV, basically where people would have, struggled and where someone might have broke in. Now he says, obviously, while he's shaking her and holding her, he's getting his wife's blood all over her because she's in a pool of blood. He says that at this point, he went to the phone and called for help. He called 911. He said he called 911 and he says, this is exactly what he says, quote, "Help, please. I need an ambulance. I need police," is what he says. He says that when he came into his house, he saw someone run through his backyard. He said, "I've left my boy in my car. My boy's in the car right now." So he's trying to tell them, establish where the kids are. Then she asked him for the address and particulars, and he calmly gives, "Here's my address. It's my wife, and she's on the floor," and, relays the whole situation very calmly and accountant-like there. I
don't want to go get my boy out of the car either and let him see this shit.
That's, what are you supposed to do? Bring him in here? So the 911 operator said he was very under control considering the circumstances. The 911 operator said that usually a person will be so hysterical in that type of situation that they may not even remember to give you an address or a name or even tell you what's going on. They just call out, they need an ambulance, they need police, and they hang up the phone. They're just like, "Oh, get here quick. Oh my God, Jesus Christ." Because it's a fucking emergency. Your head's on fire basically and you're trying to put it out.
That's why they got that tracer shit going.
Yeah, because that's what people do. That's half the people, they do that. They call and they go, "Oh my God, I need an emergency," and they hang up the fucking phone. They don't give them the information they need.
Call them right back.
Yeah, that's what they end up doing. They have to call them back here, which is, in a situation like that, might not be the easiest thing to do. So the dispatcher dispatches out to everyone in the area that he saw that there was a man seen running out the back door and, whatever. So the ambulance people arrive, the medical paramedics get there. Sandra has a pulse.
Great.
She's got a pulse. She has massive head wounds. Bloody as shit.
No.
She has a faint pulse. So
she beat with a TV?
We don't know. So we'll get to that though. That's coming up.
Okay.
So they have a faint pulse and they get her to the hospital. They bring her to the hospital. Obviously, they're working on her like crazy. Okay. They're working on her like crazy. The neighbor says he gets home from buying supplies for the church canoe trip here across the street, and he says when he gets home at 10:06 or 10:10, when he gets home at 10:10, 10:06 is when he left some other place. He gets home at 10:10. He says there's emergency vehicles all over the place. So from 10 o'clock to 10:10, it's turned to fucking bedlam in this neighborhood here. And he came outside, and he says that all Steve was expressing is that he needed to get to the hospital right now. He needed to get to the hospital. He needed to get to the hospital. That's all he was saying. So we get to the ER, and at the ER, the woman at the counter, the receptionist, says that she saw a man approaching her desk covered in blood. and he had his face just covered in blood approaching the desk. He said, he came up to them, and he said, the first thing he said to her is she talking? Mm-hmm. Is my wife, not anything else. Exact words were, is my wife talking? Mm-hmm. Not, is she alive? Is she okay? Right. What's the prognosis? Is she talking? Right. And then she was like, I don't know. I'm not the doctor. I'm a receptionist. You're going to have to go back. She said, I can't answer that. That was it. She's in the back. You should probably go back there and talk to the doctors. They probably know more. She said that he was just covered in blood, quote, from his face all the way down to his tennis shoes. She said he had a T-shirt on with the name of a church on it, of course, a pair of shorts and some tennis shoes, and covered in blood. Yeah. They said anything else on him, and she said she said he had blood on his face, on his hands, and he was wearing glasses here. That was it. That's all she knew. Now, Sandra Allen, they work on her hard. She's 30 years old, but at 10:30 p.m., she dies of her injuries at the hospital, and it's massive head injuries. Police announced they have no suspects in this at all, okay? So it's pretty crazy. So the doctor goes in to tell Steve that his wife didn't make it. And he asked the doctor when the doctor came in, is she all right? Is she making it? And the doctor said, no, I'm sorry. And the preacher was there with him. And everybody said that it's weird. He was sobbing, but without tears. It was a weird cry. Yeah. Like he's sobbing. He put the towel over his face, but there's no like tears. Like there's no, it's just like the noises of sobbing. But, I mean... Maybe he's dehydrated. Who knows? He was out mowing the lawn. He did have a medium Pepsi, but I don't know if he had a chance to drink it. But, yeah, they said that he was pretty... The doctor said that he asked if she was alive. He was pretty straight-faced. There was no tears. He did start weeping or sobbing. He says, quote, he and his pastor started sobbing, but I never saw tears, is what the doctor said. Now, the police officer, there's a police officer there, too, an Officer Joe Slack. He's there, and he's in the emergency room also. He said that Steve didn't seem to be too terribly upset. He said his color would be considered normal. He was very calmed down. He was fine. Not even white from what he fucking saw? That's the thing. He said he was very, that happened, like, oh boy, the mower broke. Yeah. Like that sort of thing. So at this point, this officer requests Mr. Allen's clothing here. So he does. He got a set of, scrubs to give to him, and he exchanged the clothes with him there. So he bags it up. It was a T-shirt, shorts, and a pair of tennis shoes. And he said he put them in a plastic bag, brought them back to the scene to give to the people investigating the whole deal right now. So he does that. Now, there's an Officer Klein back at the house. They get a call at this point that there has been a black man seen running from the area. Oh. Somebody says that, okay? Yeah. So now it's an APB on the nearest walking black guy they can fucking find, okay? So there's cops all over the place. They find some black guy walking down the road. Cop gets out, tells him to get down on the ground. The guy doesn't listen. They end up roughing this fucking guy up at gunpoint and all this shit. Turns out this guy does not speak English. Oh, Jesus. The guy, that's why he wasn't listening. Yeah. The cop actually said he felt bad about it because the guy clearly didn't know what the guy wanted. Right. And also the guy hadn't even been sweating. No. So he definitely didn't run there. Right. Yeah, he said it was a very warm night and he wasn't even sweaty. So he definitely wasn't running, and he had no blood on him also. Right. So definitely not the fucking guy. So they said they basically they had to fill out a card to say that they talked to this guy, but they felt terrible about it because they're just random fucking guy they found and that doesn't even speak English. Roughed him up for nothing. Yeah, it was ridiculous here. So there was the cops also said, check the other houses. There's a house just to the north of here, and they went over. There's a real tall privacy fence, and so they went over the fence to look there through it. So they're going over they go over this fence. They're looking around this backyard, and then the cops try to climb back over the fence, and it's at that point that someone for the house goes, "Hey, why don't you just come through the house?" And they go, "Oh, yeah,
stop fucking up my fence."
Yeah, all right, cool. We should have just tried that first, probably. We should have knocked, but I guess, yeah, that's...
There's also like a little gate, kids. You fucking jerks.
Hey, dummies, if you want your ball, just knock on the door. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ, man. Bartlesville's finest here. So, yeah, they ended up doing that, and Man, there's also another house around there that's unoccupied, that nothing was amiss, no, hadn't been entered, or nothing looked like there was anything like that. So they said they went out they went back to the house and they went to give somebody a flashlight to go inside, and they said that they left the kitchen at this point and went into the garage and saw that there's an attic door into the garage that's closed. And the chief of police who's there said, "Hey, anyone look in the fucking attic to see if, maybe there's a murderer hiding up there or anything, really? Has anyone checked an obvious fucking hiding place, the most obvious in the goddamn house?
If it's not the murderer, maybe an accomplice.
Maybe
fucking
Anne
anybody.
Frank's up there. Anything. Fucking find something, you idiots." Jesus, the chief's like, can you imagine being the chief there? "Hey, anybody check upstairs?" And everyone go, "I don't know. Did you check?" What the fuck am I doing here? Jesus Christ.
Everybody's like, "Great idea, Chief."
Yeah, there's a reason why you're in charge, I guess, huh? Wow. So at that point, the one officer ends up going up there. He said it's one of those doors where it's like a flat on the ceiling and you pull it down and you pull the ladder down. Right. One of those doors.
It's the
attic door.
Right.
Your typical attic door.
The Christmas vacation
attic door.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Said he brought the ladder down.
Whacked the police chief in the face, of course.
Of course, yeah. Oh, Jesus. And he yelled at the one guy, and the guy's hat was like on sideways because he's an idiot. His police hat. "Oh, sorry, Chief. Straighten out your cap." "Oh, I'm sorry, Chief." So he said he went up there, and they just did a quick, popped his head up and did a flashlight around to see if anybody was up there, type of thing. And he said it was just, residential shit up there, boxes and
Christmas decorations.
Yeah, you know what's up there.
Old movie things.
Old movie things, old movie reels. You know how it goes.
Bunch of women's clothes.
Yeah, that's how it is. So the officer said when he got to the house here, so there's no people up there, just crap. So he said when he got to the house, he observed a large pool of blood in the room that Sandra was in, and the room appeared to be spattered with blood everywhere too.
Sure.
It was a fucking scene. Yeah. It was a bloodbath. They said this would have been like a dining room in a dining room area in the kitchen of a residence. He said he then did search of other rooms and just doing a kind of a check it out. He said he found he saw the sink that was full of blood. He saw a female purse on the counter. There was a chair turned upside down. Went into the dining room, and that's where a lot of the blood had flowed. Went into the living room, and it was in disarray. The police officer said books were knocked off the shelf. The television was broken. The mirror was broken. The entrance door to the room from the outside had a pane of glass that was broken. And he went to the master bedroom where he said it was neat and clean, like nobody had ever been in there.
Whatever happened got way the fuck out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So he searched through the purse and, just to look and see if anything was in there of any importance. And they realized it was her purse. Just want to make sure it was her purse. Sure. They established it was her purse. She had her driver's license, billfold with several credit cards in a purse also. Yeah. So to find a purse nearby, not only to find a purse, but to find a purse full of money and credit cards, is a weird thing for some. What the fuck are you stealing?
Not robbery.
You broke the TV, so you're not stealing that. Back then, people would steal TVs. Or you're not. What are you stealing exactly? What's going on there? So he said the purse appeared to be intact, like nothing was taken out of it. It didn't look rifled or anything. It was, in its rows, like people keep shit. So, said the screen of the TV had been smashed, and he observed what he thought to be blood all over the screen as well.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, that's...
Those didn't break easy back
No,
then.
We're talking a big tube TV that's heavy that
that glass is so thick.
You could kill somebody with. Yeah. This is when the cops say that they were told the victim's husband arrived home, saw somebody running outside. They went outside to see if they could locate any kind of tracks or a weapon. Yeah. They couldn't do that. They also found there's only one set of bloody footprints walking around in here also. We'll talk about that. Only one step set there. The pane of glass was broken out of the door, it looked like from the outside, like a burglar would break glass to get into a door. So the house obviously is kind of it's a mess. Yeah. You know what I mean? He said that, he couldn't locate any kind of footprints, and the ground was still moist, like there was moisture in the grass. Yeah. So he said there would have been footprints going out from there, and there was no footprints.
There's no rhyme or reason to like robbery or anything. It's just it's very concentrated in one area.
It's very concentrated in one area, and he said that it's just a matter of he was looking outside trying to find where people might have been, and he couldn't find anything anything like he looked where there was chairs, like maybe somebody would have climbed it. There would have been a footstep on there. There was no footprint on that.
Blood on the fucking porch where a guy that just fucking beat somebody to death would have it all over him.
In the barbecue grill area, they found what he called a black tire tool. And he said it was left behind the chairs on the cement. And so he thought, hey, maybe that's something. But then when he picked it up, he said the cop said, quote, it had roly-poly bugs underneath it when I removed it. And it had not like spider webs, but webs of some kind.
It's been there a minute.
Been there.
Yeah.
It got dropped behind something and no one knew it was there. Yeah, so that's about it. So it's like a crowbar. It is like a typical crowbar you'd see to change a tire here. So he said he checked the shrubbery, checked everything, make sure nobody was hiding. They looked all around. They could not find anything on the outside of the house. Now, the police officer did say his first impression when he walked in and saw the blood was there was too much blood. He said there was too much blood on the walls, on the floor, all of it just to be like a simple burglary. This is not a police officer. This is the OSBI, the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation people.
See,
they know what they're doing.
FBI.
They're people that would have checked the attic first. You know what I mean? There are people that wouldn't be, anybody check the attic? No. Oh, shit. Come on. You want to check it with a fucking flashlight or what? No. So he says that usually if you surprise a burglar, he attacks you and a person goes down and then the burglar's going to be running away.
Yeah, get out of here as fast as possible.
Because they're burglaring. Right. He said the scene looked more with the amount of blood like there was a lot of violence rather than just striking someone to get out of the house. Usually the burglar just hits you till you're away from them. They don't want to be caught and held and be arrested, obviously. They want to fucking get out of there. Right. So, yeah, he says almost like that the goal was rather to inflict on the victim rather than to burglarize the house. I don't know that I can describe it very in the right terms, but it was just so much seen that it was the first indication is the victim here, that they went in for the victim or the attack on the victim was on the victim, not just an accidental bumping into the victim and her surprising them, and that there was so much violence that very likely the victim would have known her assailant. He said things didn't look right. The television was broken, sitting on a stand, but yet you could see the stand on the carpet hadn't been moved. So it didn't get knocked over. Right. Like it was.
Somebody went for it.
That's the weird thing. So he said it struck me that the screen of a television set was very thick and would be very difficult to break, yet it hadn't been moved from where it obviously was, which is a good point. He said the wall behind the television was a broken mirror, but yet the television wasn't moved. The mirror had been broken. There was nothing laying on the floor that obviously had been thrown across the room, struck the mirror and bounced back out on the floor. So I couldn't identify anything in there that would have obviously broken those items. And the TV not being moved, I tried to determine whether or not the door ajar was that way before we first arrived. He's trying to talk about the position of the door. Yeah. He said the position of the door bothered me because it was not open far enough to walk out. It was only open maybe a foot and a half. It would be there was carpet there where it wouldn't swing open on its own. It was one of those where the carpet would stick on the door. Yeah. It was one of those doors that they didn't use, really. It was the other entrance to the living room.
Drug across the carpet to get it open.
Exactly. Yeah. So it had fluffy carpet they didn't use the door
Either
off.
New carpet or a new door.
Exactly. One of the two. So he said it took some kind of pressure to move it one way or another, and it would be very unlikely that someone would run out it and close the door and have the door closed behind them. Right. But yet it's not open wide enough. So the position of the door bothered me. The glass being broken out on the door, and I'm being told that the storm door was locked, bothered me too, because there was a locked storm door, yet broken glass on the inside of the storm door room.
So how did that get in?
So how would you get past the storm? You can't leave and then lock the storm door behind you. That doesn't, we have to do that from the inside. It's like a sliding glass with a, flip up and down lock. One of those, like in your sliding glass door.
Arcadia doors.
Yeah. He also said the books from the bookshelf bothered him. He said the books from the bookshelf were in a big pile at the end of the bookshelf, at the base coming out of the bookshelf and kind of laying in the doorway. And I thought in my mind, if there's a fight and you fall against the bookshelf, how could the books be right there by the bookcase if there's a person standing there? The books would have to hit the person and leave a void right by the bookcase because they wouldn't fall through a person.
Correct.
You'd hit it and they'd go around you and there'd be like a person hole in the middle of where the fucking books were. Yeah, so he's like, I don't get it. He said they'd be right there. The books would have hit the person and leave a void right there because the bookcase, they wouldn't fall through the person. But all the books were piled up against the bookcase, all right out on the floor like they'd been pulled off and fell at the feet of someone rather than being knocked off. Like someone pulled them off rather than got their back hitting it. It was their front pulling them off.
2 hands pulling them in.
Yeah, pulling books off. So one of the police officers said that they said this is where Steven said that he spotted the intruder talking to the den door, and that's the one with, like I said, the carpet. So he said that's where he saw the intruder, right outside that door, and that's the one where it didn't make any sense. The television screen had been kicked out. He said the door leading from the den to patio was locked. So now they talked to Steve, obviously. He talks about his day. He says what he did. He got some greeting cards, that whole shit that we talked about earlier. He says he gave the kid a bath. He left. He went to Dillard's. He saw his wife and the child, talked to her a little bit about the strange phone call, went back and forth, went to get a drink and get her a drink, left Dillard's, stopped at the church, went to Sonic, talked to a guy at Sonic for a little bit, and then drove back to Dillard's, and she wasn't there. So that's how that worked. And then he went home, and then this happened. That's his story. His exact thing is he said he saw the headlights flashed across the backyard patio portion of his residence. He saw a figure change directions. He got out of the car and went in and found his wife, left his child in the car. When he found his wife and went over to her, he called her, went over to her, picked her up and held her. He did all of that. He said he stepped into the other room, saw the TV, saw the mirror, saw the books. He then said that he saw a hammer. He said he saw a ball-peen hammer there. This is what he's telling the cops now. He went back to the pastor's house after his wife is dead, and the cops come over there to interview him. Okay. Now he says when he was there next to his wife or near his wife, he saw a bloody ball-peen hammer. He said so he got mad, and he picked up the hammer and slammed the hammer into the counter. Like he bashed the counter with the hammer. Like, God damn it. My wife.
Why would he pick anything up ever?
He said at that point, oh no, now I've got my, stuff on the hammer and my, blood that I've got on me and my fingerprints all over the hammer. So what do? Holy shit, now they're going to blame me for it, he says. So he then took the hammer. This is before he called 911.
Yeah.
He took the hammer and the paper towels up to the attic and put them in the attic and cleaned off the hammer and all that shit in the attic. Then came downstairs and called 911. His wife was still fucking alive.
Still breathing.
So even if that was true, your wife's still alive. That's a critical fucking few minutes
he do that?
That he would do that, okay? He says that, he was wiping the hammer. He's wiping his hands, things with blood. He tells them that, he struck the countertop in frustration. He fearing his bloody prints would be over there, and so they end up going up to the attic, finding the fucking the bloody towels and the ball-peen hammer, and they say, guess what, we're charging you with the fucking murder, dummy. That doesn't seem like behavior that anyone on earth would do, ever, especially someone who's not a complete moron. Right. I mean, you're not an idiot, sir, are you? They said they go up, they find it. They say it was under a pile of tubing and carpeting, which he hid the hammer under. So he even hid it. He didn't just throw it up there. Yeah. He said they lifted it up and they observed a roll of paper towels, a wadded up pile of paper towels, and a small ball-peen hammer. By the way, a ball-peen hammer would be great for bashing out a TV screen without moving the TV off the stand. It'd be great for it. Oh, and also bashing a mirror without throwing anything on it.
Will horrify anybody seeing you do that.
Yeah.
If you are a madman and angry
with
about
a fucking
anything,
hammer,
you're just breaking glass indiscriminately around the house.
That's
holy shit.
Fucking crazy.
You're angry.
They said that they checked to see if they could locate a dent or a hole in the cabinet or the counter where he said he picked the hammer up and started banging on the countertop. He said he just did it really hard, and they couldn't find a mark on the counter. So that was his whole reason for touching the hammer, was this terrible frustration smash, but they couldn't find any damage on the counter. I don't care what kind of countertops you have. In 1990, those are like
They're chlorine.
Those are
particle board
with the thing.
Right.
You hit that shit with a ball peen hammer.
You can barely hit that with a fork without it making a mark.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not to mention, that's absolutely. So he's saying that the medical examiner says that there's blunt force head injuries caused the death. So they're looking into this whole thing, obviously. Doesn't take them long until they uncover pretty quickly that Steve had been having an extramarital affair for a while.
What?
Yeah, Steve been fucking around with his he's been fucking around with his secretary at the office.
God damn it, Steven.
Steve, this ended about 6 months before this all happened. It ended in January, but he'd been having an affair with the secretary. Deborah Aubrey is her name, and been having an affair with her. This affair, there's a lot of notes that went back and forth, emails. That
Who cut it off, her or him?
They're not emails, but they're inter-office electronic system that they had. Well, that's the thing here. It's from August 89 to January 90. They slept together 6 times here at her house, at his house, and then... Tell me this isn't hot. A motel in Tulsa.
Yeesh.
All class.
Boy.
A motel in Tulsa.
What do you want to bet?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. What do you want to bet? The two end words of the name of that is motor launch.
Oh, you fucking know it. Go in there and go, that's a nice bathtub to hide in when the tornadoes come. I'll stay here. Jesus.
A motel in Tulsa.
So over the course of about 4 months, they have sex about 6 times.
Okay.
So
That's
do
about
that.
the same amount as he's having with his wife right now.
That's what I mean. She's also extremely religious.
Right.
She goes to church in Dewey, the town we did last time. She goes to church there, is very deep into the church. Both of these two are very religious. They do break off the relationship. During it, there's a lot of notes that he talks about his marriage with her, where he talks about the sexual problems, and that's how it started. And then they break it off in 1990, and it's like a mutual thing where they're both like, we shouldn't do this.
Right.
He even tells her, you should work this out with your husband. You seem to love your husband. I think you should work it out with your husband and try to, whatever. And she says, yeah, you should work it out with your wife. But they stay like friends and they still talk to each other about personal shit, which is not okay. Yeah, it's weird here.
Seeing each other, knowing what each other look like naked.
It's easy. It's an easy one to fall back on. She gave him, she says that she gave him at that point a mixtape of religious songs, which she called, quote, some of her favorites.
Oh, boy.
So here's some Christian rock for you, pal. Thanks. Gee, thanks.
Thanks for the news, boys.
So that affair, though, makes us go, okay, that's it doesn't prove anything, obviously, but it's not good. It's not his story.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, the autopsy is done here. Yikes. The autopsy finds that they've examined the brain, and they found multiple fractures of the skull, some of which you could see externally.
Yeah.
That's how fucking bad this
she
was.
Wasn't going to make it.
It was bad. But they involved, it says, now I don't know what this means, but if you're into medical shit, you will. Both of these involved not only the calvarium, or the upper rounded part of the skull, but also the floor or base of the skull on the inside.
Oh, my God.
That's the part of the skull that lies just below the brain and begins right behind the eyes and goes back above the ear level and back to the back of the skull.
And that was fractured. Wow.
The brain itself was also extensively injured. There was a very large area of bruising on the brain on the right side toward the back, which corresponded to a large area of injury on the scalp and skull, where many lacerations came together and produced a large open defect in the scalp. There was also a large open defect in the skull in the same area, where the brain was extensively bruised in that area. There were some bone fragments that had been driven inward into the brain and had cut or lacerated. These would really be tearing, not cutting. So there was lacerations on the brain surface in the area where the bruising occurred. So drove skull into the brain. That's how hard this was. That's a lot here. In addition, there were scattered bruises on other parts of the brain, which were the result of transmitted forces from multiple blows that had been struck to the outside of the head.
That's vicious.
Hit you on the right side, hurt your brain on the left side because it hits your skull over there. So like a concussion.
Yeah. When the skull is fractured like that with that kind of brain trauma, it swells and comes through the skull.
Yeah.
I've seen crime scene.
horrible,
It's
man.
so terrible.
It's fucking disturbing.
And that causes damage too, because the brain is swelling through those holes and like making more damage to the brain. It's so fucked.
It's all. And then she also, like I said, has skull fragments in there, so that's not helping either.
And her brain's bouncing off of those.
It's fucking horrible.
Jesus.
Yeah. So the funeral comes around.
Yeah.
They haven't arrested Alan yet.
No?
They don't arrest him before the funeral. The funeral comes around, and a friend of his named Alan Eastman, Steve told him, quote, "I don't know if I did it or not. I just don't remember what happened."
The fuck?
Now, Alan denies saying that, but I mean, this Alan Eastman guy has no reason to lie about it. He's just a buddy from church or whatever. He doesn't care.
How raspy does he talk?
That's the other thing here. People, she was buried right after that, and they all acted like everything was fine, and then at the request of the district attorney's office, though, he turned himself in after the funeral on Friday, June 15th. Now, here's his thing, what he's talking about. He's saying his whole case is there's a contact lens that was found on his wife's body.
Steve's saying that?
Steve's saying that. The contact lens that is found, obviously, that there is a contact lens found. That's not disputable. He says that this is obviously, I can't be the killer because it's not my contact or his contact or her contact. Must have been the killer's contact dropped on top of her.
There you go.
Which is also a thing, or could have been a lot of times too, especially back then. You'll get hairs, fibers, trace shit that's actually from the sheet that they use.
Environment.
It's from the environment, from the medical examiner's office.
Or from her goddamn job.
From her job, from everywhere. Here, though, this is his big thing, and then they end up finding that her optometrist says that he actually did prescribe her new lenses recently, and those are that prescription. But he's saying that she had lenses in her eyes, and then she had there was that extra lens. Where'd that lens come from?
She only has two eyes.
That's the thing. So that means I didn't kill her, is what he's saying here. So he also requests a change of venue, obviously, because there's a lot of shit going on here. In this area, this is a pretty explosive thing.
Everybody goes to church, and there's only 30,000 people in this town. Everybody knows.
Everybody. Plus, it was a young mother killed in her home by an intruder, possibly a black guy.
My God.
It was fucking, it was definite triage, all hands on deck, 5-alarm emergency.
There's a raspy retard on the loose.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Save us all. So, Alan submits 3 affidavits from people of the county, saying, and an expert and public opinion surveys and all this shit, saying that, everybody knows about the case, and the judge says, "Nah, we'll handle it here. We're good." Basically, the whole thing is they change publicity. They can change venues, but they say that if the jurors say, I've heard some shit about it, but I'm an adult and I can take the case for what's shown to me here, then they're fine with it. Is how it works here. Now he is pissed off because he wants the state to stop testing the ball-peen hammer before the trial.
Stevens had enough of this.
Yeah, no more testing here. He says that it's fundamentally unfair to let the state, with all of its resources, to continue expert testing that he can't afford. See, a lot of states now, they have a rule where it's a dollar for dollar spend.
Right.
Whereas back then, I don't know, but I know like Texas for a long time, that was a big thing they were fighting for, because they would spend $100,000 on experts to put somebody in the electric chair, and they'd have a public defender with no money. So it was like, that's not really fair. That's not a fair trial at that point.
I may be wrong, but I tend to view Oklahoma and Texas as
similar.
Very, apples and apples litigiousness.
They may fight about football, but they fucking
they get down with that.
They're similar. They're similar in a lot of ways. A lot of church and lethal injections going on. If they could just move the lethal injections to church, everybody could just go. It's a one-stop shop. So, he wants them to stop doing that. And the judge rules, the tests are real prejudicial to you because they make you look guilty. But other than that, they're pretty fair. They have to test the shit to see if you're guilty, stupid. So there's that. Also, there's a video here. The Bartlesville Police Department videotaped the whole crime scene here shortly after they came to the house. And the the court is going to present the videotape to the jury using the video portion of the tape, but not the audio portion of the tape, so they can, point stuff out and speak over it and just show you the whole scene. Not the cops going, yeah, we're over here. And then, so is he going to check? Okay, we're about, it's all cop chatter in the background. It's not like there's no narrative.
Oh, it's not like okay.
It's no one going like, we enter the kitchen and we go for, it's none of that shit. It's just a guy videotaping while people chatter. So.
Okay. I see what you're saying. It's not like CCTV of the interrogation of him.
No. This is the actual crime scene.
I've seen one of those.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
It's terrible.
It's absolutely awful.
It's so bad.
So
I don't want the audio.
No. Well, this guy's saying he wants the audio. He's saying the relevant evidence may be excluded if its probative value is substantially outweighed by the danger of its unfair prejudice. They're saying that he said the audio portion will lay the groundwork for his challenge to the investigative procedures and to show that he was immediately considered the primary suspect, thereby causing police to abandon the theory of burglary by his, quote, shadowy figure. Okay. That's how so he's saying that the chatter in the background says, dudes are saying shit like, what do you want about the husband did this? Yeah, or like, yeah, what about this? This? I don't see any. They're saying things like, it doesn't look like anyone broke in. Yeah. This door wouldn't work like this. Shit
then
like
the positive part would be that they are taking all of that out, not putting it in.
Exactly.
You should be thankful that they're taking that out.
That's the point.
Right.
That's what the court is saying. Right. Like, dude, that probably hurt you worse, as a matter of fact.
It's helpful without the words.
He's trying to say
is facts.
Prejudicial, man. Right away they were looking at me. Well, yeah, obviously. It's your wife in your house, so they're going to look at you first, obviously, then they'll look outside. Yeah, it's every case. Can we say the husband did it? No, okay, then let's look outside. Right. But it'd be easiest to just say he did it, because most of the time it's fucking him.
Right.
That's how it is. So the trial comes along, and Steve argues that the state failed to prove that his affair was a motivator to murder his wife. He says that he contends that because this affair had ended months before the murder, it couldn't have been motive for killing his wife and that sort of shit. But the judge says, well, you still talk to her about your sex problems and things like that. Yeah. So looks like you were looking for outside something there. Now, they talk about the phone call, obviously. The thing is, with the phone call, and we'll talk about it, the woman who took the call, her fellow employee, she thought it was Steve the whole time.
Hilarious.
She thought right away when she handed the phone to Sandra, she was like, I think that's Steve. That's what she thought from the very fucking beginning here. So yeah, that's the weird thing.
Steve, is that you? Nah, bitch.
Nah.
It's not me.
It's not Steve.
It's not Steve.
It's not Steve Allen, Sandra's husband. So he also contends that the ball-peen hammer couldn't have been the murder weapon. Now, the evidence is that the injuries were caused by a blunt instrument, but they don't know. They don't know what the fuck did it. They don't know for sure if it's a hammer, if it's something else. Her fucking skull was broken into pieces, so it could have been anything. Literally, it could have been a fist. It could have been anything. So, I mean, obviously, probably not force-wise, but you'd have to some broken hands. Knuckles too, so probably just from bone on bone.
Right.
So, but they don't know it's the hammer, but they're like, that's what he hid. So we're assuming that's probably the fucking weapon. Why would he hide nothing?
Pretty good assumption.
He made himself look even guiltier here. And the state's expert testified he couldn't eliminate the hammer as a murder weapon. And Allen's own expert says that the manner in which the hammer was used could be a factor in all kinds of injuries. He said because you could use the flat end, you could use the ball end, God. You could just use it flat.
Yeah.
You could use it fucking flat.
Rack that fucking metal part
in your hand and use the fucking wooden part of the club.
Beat the shit out of
somebody. You can do anything. He said there's so many different ways you could use a ball-peen hammer to inflict injuries that you can't say that it couldn't cause it.
And I'll bet that guy just learned that and now carries a ball-peen hammer.
Yeah, everywhere.
Doesn't even take a gun. He's like, fuck it, this thing's amazing.
This thing's dangerous. I like it. Now, they have the Teresa Miller, the Dillard's employee who took the odd call there, and they said that they asked her, Jesus Christ, if I understand correctly, you and Sandra Allen were seen working and you had not seen Mr. Allen at that point in the evening. The call came in. Is that right? She said, no, not prior to the call. They said, so about 15 minutes after the calls when you first saw Mr. Allen. She said, yes. They're talking about the kid for a second. And they said, have you had the occasion to take past phone calls when he would call her? And she said, yes, I have. And, when he would call, would he ask for Sandy? And she said, yes, he would. In fact, when you initially took the call that night and you thought, did you think it was Steve Allen? And she says, yes, I did. I thought it was Steve Allen. So, He says, now you took the call. You were able to understand the caller. Because Sandy said, remember, she couldn't understand the caller. And this woman says, yes, I was. The next question, and the caller in no way appeared to be or sound retarded to you. This isn't a court of law. This is happening.
It's awesome.
And she says no. And he says, so when Mr. Allen related to you that the caller sounded retarded, that would have been something different that you observed. That is different than what you observed. Is that right? And she said, yes.
How hilarious.
This is illegal.
He made a phone call, talked to her in his normal voice, and was like, fuck, I gotta decide my voice.
Is Sandy there?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, sure, here you go. And then she got on the phone, he's like, or something. I don't know. I couldn't understand him.
He's like,
where's your husband? Because he's got to be raspy. Where is he? Where is he? See, sounds like
husband.
I don't know. We're not trying to imitate that. I don't know what he could have sounded like to sound raspy
it's hilarious.
And challenged at the same time. It makes no sense.
That's guys that don't do impressions or don't do characters.
Yeah.
That guy is me, basically.
Hey, where's Sandy there?
This is what happens when I try to cover up a murder.
You'd be in court going, I swear I didn't call him. People be calling you fucking challenged in court.
Calling me a raspy retard.
Oh, perfect. Jesus Christ. Then it goes from there. And this is, I know it's bad to keep saying it, but
terrible.
This is in fucking court.
It's hysterical. That's a thing.
Quote, did Sandra indicate to you in any way that she thought the caller was Steve? Answer, no, she didn't. Question, okay. And does Steve have a raspy voice? I don't even remember at this point. He says, I'm sorry. She says, I just don't remember at this point. Quote, is Steve in any way retarded? What? She then says,
am I a doctor?
Quote, I don't know that I'm qualified.
Go on.
No, I can't. I got to catch my breath.
She's like, I sell cologne.
She took this fucking very seriously. I don't think I'm qualified. I don't think so, but I don't think I'm qualified to make a medical judgment. That was a serious question in court.
She's like, I don't know, eternity's on sale. I work at fucking Dillard's.
What the fuck
dick.
do I know? You want a Coach purse? I get you 10% off. Other than that, I got nothing to tell
asshole.
Oh, man.
Hell are you talking about?
So
unbelievable.
This is crazy as shit. Now, the defense, the prosecution, they do say, quote, this is one of the investigators, as he walked off, he left tennis shoe prints. The only other prints I could find in the area matched the tennis shoe print of Mr. Allen. Yeah. There's no other footprints in the house. No bloody footprints, no footprints in the carpet, no footprints in the wet grass, no footprints anywhere except for his tennis shoes. It's kind of tough there. I don't think the person went over and smoothed over the carpet real quick and all the grass. The defense here, they talk about how Steve, that there's a doctor that's conducted psychological testing on Steve, and the psychological testing reveals that Steve just doesn't have the personality type to do this. So, case closed.
Oh.
I mean, can I dismiss this?
The personality alone.
A motion to dismiss. He said it's not him.
He's too nice for this.
That's what the guy said. He went to school, so we're done here, right? No. They said that's not going to be good enough. No. Sorry. He could have just been nice to the doctor. They said that this is amazing. A lawyer said this in court. Psychological testing will also show that some of Steve's statement regarding his behavior at the time that he found his wife and also thereafter were a result of psychological trauma and reactive disorders that he experienced
from finding his dead wife.
He went into some otherworldly, thing. He said it will also establish at the time Steve found his wife after he shook her and got her own blood on him. He went through a period of, quote, reactive psychosis. Yeah. He has no idea what's going on. The psychosis caused some very bizarre actions on behalf of Steve. The lawyer says it will be established that he hid something that's not the murder weapon, that he panicked. It will be established, quite frankly, that Steve did some really stupid things in the house that night, but it will also be established that he did not kill Sandra.
Okay. I can't wait for this.
He will also establish Steve's an active father who's involved with the raising of his children. Although they had problems, Sandra and Steve had problems of a sexual nature, that Steve loved Sandra and that Steve was committed to try to work out that marriage and make it work. There will be witnesses here to tell you that from both sides of the case. So basically, he's saying the prosecution's just saying sex pervert killed his wife. Yeah. That's the bottom line. Whereas we're going to go, yeah, sure, he wanted to bang his wife, but come on, who cares? So So the defense here, they say that this is in his psychosis, that Steve went back to Sandra, and at this point he loses it. That's what the psychologist said. He loses it, and he decided to go get his son, to go check on his son. But then he says that he has to wipe off his hands. He's got his wife's blood all over his hands.
Can't show that to the kid.
Going to pick his son up. Yeah. Then he decides he needs to call 911, and then he sees the hammer and picks the hammer up and slams it down on the kitchen counter. And he says, he's fucking, he doesn't know what to do. He panicked. He ran. He put the hammer in the attic thinking he'll be the suspect. He has blood all over his hands. We will establish for you that he has a hammer in his hands, and dumb and stupid. It will be established. And as bizarre as crazy as it may be, he hit a hammer, but that's not the murder weapon. They said he went downstairs and, Jesus Christ. He says you'll hear from expert testimony that this was a classic case of bewilderment. Of do I go to her? And there will be testimony that he tried to give mouth to mouth. He wiped her mouth with a towel, but he couldn't do it. It will be established that he went through a period of psychosis inside that house. They said he's an accountant. It'll also be established that Steve went through emotional trauma that night. He's not used to seeing this as an accountant. No. You call fucking 911 and you help somebody.
That's the first thing.
You're in an emergency. Right. You get your head out of your ass. You're not 4. No. You didn't oh no, I'm going to go run and watch cartoons now.
How much do you love her? Go fucking save her life, man.
The prosecution's saying as much as a half hour went by before he called 911.
What?
A fucking half hour. Bro, she was still alive for that half hour. I mean, I don't know if they could have helped her, but it's more of a chance than if you leave her bleeding out in the fucking living room for a half hour.
That's a long time.
That's
especially
when
you've just seen what you've just seen. Yeah. That's like 6 weeks.
That seems like he was waiting for her to die, and she fucking wouldn't die. Yeah. So he's like, I guess I just got to call.
Stand here for a while.
That's why he was like, is she talking? Yeah. So that's what it looks like. He also says that cloth fibers found under her fingernail do not match the clothing that Steve was wearing the night of the murder. Okay. Problem is, she works at Dillard's. Right. What do they have there?
All day.
What is it, like 70% clothing?
Right.
Number one. And also, before she left for work, she did fucking laundry and folded all the laundry. So she's going to have fibers of God knows how many different types of clothes that aren't his under the fingernails. So, that seems pretty obvious. Emergency personnel, they testify that 2 contact lenses were removed from her clothing at the hospital and were misplaced. Later, 1 whole contact lens and another partial one were removed from her body during the autopsy. So that whole thing of where's the other contact lens, they lost it at the hospital. They said when it came in, the evidence was inventoried as that, and it got when they were, in the whole mix of shit. You can't lose evidence, but that's what they're saying. They testify that they personally, the personnel, emergency personnel, that's different because they're not in an evidence collecting manner. They're in a saving life manner, so they'll just throw shit aside that doesn't matter to them. Right. If this is is this helping me save her? Right. No, get it the fuck away from me.
If she's not dead, then she's not evidence at the moment, and we are documenting things as we try and fix it.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. So they also said that the defense tried to do reenactments and said that because the blood spatter is a big deal here. Not only does he have like blood on him, he's got spatter all over him.
Well, that's not
speckles, spatter.
That's not easy.
All over the place, and they're saying they're trying to say that the spatter came from shaking her so hard that fucking blood spatter got on him.
That would be a lot of splashing.
That's. You can't shake a human that hard.
You can't, to get that velocity?
No. Yeah, it's the same velocity of coming off of. No, physics don't allow that.
You got to be punching her.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's ridiculous. They also testified no body tissue was on the clothing Steve was wearing, which who knows what he did with it, and that sort of thing. And also that his lawyers gave him a lie detector test and he passed it. So
thank God for them.
I mean, if his lawyers gave him one, I'm sure it's fine. That's it's a good one. But that's not admissible in court, obviously. But that's just part of their whole thing here. So the verdict comes in, and verdict guilty. They find him guilty.
He's terrible with the defense.
He's a bad defense. They said when the guilty verdict was read out loud, her family, the Snaveleys, were very happy. They said they were they all kind of gassed and they were murmuring prayers and shit. Like, these people are nice people. These aren't like the fuck that motherfucker. Yeah, I'm gonna
light him on fire.
Yeah, they're not that type. They said the mother said, quote, "Thank you, Jesus, thank you." His parents were sad, obviously. His sister was crying, Steve and Alan's sister. He was just shaking his head while this was going on. Her father, Sandra's father, Joe, said that the family has been at peace throughout the trial because they have a strong faith in God. He said he and his two sons are associate pastors at the church in Missouri there. He says, quote, "We're happy with the verdict, but we're not gloating on the fact that a young man with a bright future has gone the wrong way." Yeah. Exactly the right way to handle that. I mean, there's no whatever your grief brings you, but that's the healthy way to handle that. Yeah. That's, I don't know. I mean, whatever it is. Also, Joe says that he and his wife here, the Sandra's parents, have temporary custody and they're going to seek guardianship of the 3 children. Good. Sounds good. They raised her to be really, really nice. So it sounds good. But everybody handles that different. But the vengeance thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just saw the way my family handled it when we had my great grandmother get murdered there. And I remember as a kid being like, because you just watch a lot of TV, so it's like, who did it and all that.
Let's get them.
I remember my dad going, "It really doesn't matter." Yeah. And I was just like, huh? And my dad is not a calm guy generally. He's got a temper, and he's a lot like me. You know what I mean? I'm a lot like that. So. But he was just like, it's not even for what. Right. He was like, yeah, I mean, and then they caught the woman, and it was like she ended up going to prison and everything for 20 years or so. But it was like, nobody cared about that part. They were like, well, she's gone, so what does that part matter? That was our thing of it. It was like, well, none of us are allowed to deal with it, so what do we really care what happens to her? We'd like her to be off the street to not do this to other people. Of course. But it didn't make us feel any better that she went to prison. I remember hearing, she got convicted and went to prison, and none of us felt... It didn't change one iota of emotion for us. We were like, okay, well, she's still dead. Yeah. We still don't have her. So who fucking cares? So I feel like these people have a similar attitude. So I kind of understand that shit. Now, sentencing here comes around, and this is a death penalty case. Of course. He is Oklahoma. He's up for the death penalty, and the only 2 options are death or life without parole. That's the only ones. That's it. Those are his options. You, sir, may fuck off. Life without parole. That's what they give him. Yeah. He is a white accountant. Yeah. And they don't really have... with a pay lawyer. So they don't as they say in the wire. A pay lawyer? You got a pay lawyer.
They also don't have like a whole bunch of like premeditation.
That's the other thing. Crazy. It doesn't look like
a ritual killing.
If he beat her for 5 years beforehand, or
it wasn't a godless event.
Yeah, exactly. There was Jesus was here for this one. So he has appeals, obviously. 92, 93, 97. He has appeals. 97 was finally his denial for his writ of habeas here. 93, though, his appeal is that he complains that the trial judge's questioning of witnesses was prejudicial. Now, trial judges generally, obviously, their job isn't to question, but if there is some question of clarity that, like, the lawyer and the witness understand it, but if the judge is like, hold on a sec, what I'm asking is this and that? He's establishing if I don't understand it, the jury doesn't understand it.
He's got to specify and make sure.
It's usually just clarifications. They don't go on a new line of questioning. Well, let me ask you, what were you doing there that night? They never say that shit. They're always like, did you say it was him and you and them over here? Okay, thank you. That's it. So it's always that sort of thing. And they review it, and the appeals say, in this trial, the judge questioned the defendant and 2 other defense witnesses. We've reviewed the trial transcript and the questions asked by the judge. Nothing in the record reveals the jury was informed of the court's opinions or views, or that the defendant was unfairly prejudiced. Eat dicks. Yeah. On the venue, they say that's up to the judge. None of the jurors seem to be, despite the publicity in northeastern Oklahoma, there didn't seem to be, all the jurors seemed to say they were adults that could handle it. Now, on the hammer testing, he says that the trial court erred in allowing the state to present evidence of anything with the hammer because they tested it and he didn't want them to. They were like, no, they're allowed to test shit. He also says they erred in allowing the state to present evidence of the affair with the secretary and allowing evidence by 2 witnesses. Now, You have to build that in this case.
Yeah, you got to show that.
Yeah, he says because the affair had ended about 6 months before the death, he urges that it wasn't relevant. Well, it's state of mind.
And you got to establish a motive. And if motive is to get out of this marriage to possibly get more strange.
That's the thing. And if it is in you at all to betray your wife, that's something. It's not all the evidence. It's not something, but it's something to think about.
Certainly brings your character into question.
Well, that's what it is. He says that this evidence was only offered to prove him, quote, a bad man, and its prejudicial effect far outweighs its probative value. The court says, no, it's relevant. If you killed some guy at work, that wouldn't matter.
Right.
Then they'd say, yeah, you're just trying to say you're a dick, but you killed your wife that you had an affair on. It's fucking different. That matters.
Or if you killed a guy at work, it doesn't matter unless that woman
was his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
The person you were
someone
fucking,
he was.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would certainly matter.
That would be something, to think about here. He raises 5 issues, though, here. The contact lens thing. He says the state failed to prove his relationship with the secretary motivated the murder. He says that, what about that unusual phone call from the stranger? That should be investigated more. That's probably who killed her, the stranger, obviously.
We're pretty sure of it, too.
Fucking duh. Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm pretty sure that's who did it.
Pretty positive about that. So I'm not qualified to make a medical judgment. So they said also just whether there's enough evidence there. He says that his experts were qualified and testified the physical evidence was consistent with his theory of the case. And, he's saying the state's witnesses are bullshit, basically. He also says the insufficiency of evidence. He says the ball-peen hammer could not have been the murder weapon because one of his experts said that. He said there was evidence this is all the blunt instrument shit here. He also said this was they said it was a hard-fought case in which virtually every detail was challenged and which very able counsel presented both sides. Pay lawyer. The fact that the evidence was challenged, however, does not mean the evidence was insufficient. Eat dick, sir. Continue to be in prison.
Yeah.
So that all...
Today, this doesn't happen, by the way. Today, this is over before you even get started with the investigation. The amount of cameras that are out there.
Oh, forget about
this
it.
This doesn't even happen.
No, everybody's ring doorbell. They were like, there's no one on your porch. Your ring doorbell says that fucking, your Simply Safe video verification technology says no one was in your house. So I'm sorry.
Matter of fact,
Simply
we
Safe
see
is
you
wonderful.
Murdering your wife.
Yeah, there you are. Oh, look at that. Why are you standing there? Okay, I guess he's going to knock the books off the shelf for some reason. That's weird. Interesting. Super weird. Is he making a sandwich? Did anybody check to see if he made it? I think it's ham. He's making a ham sandwich. Okay. I guess.
Yeah, that TV was definitely cheap. It was an Amazon special.
Yeah, he gets hungry. Yeah. Well, not back then. It wasn't an Amazon. It's a fucking Zenith.
I mean, today.
Yeah, today.
Today. I'm going on today's today's observation. We watch him murder her today.
Yeah, that's what
happens.
Oh, he stole the Apple TV. Just put that right in his pocket. So 2003 comes around and there's some DNA popping up here. The judge is allowing possible further DNA testing in this case here. They're going to test certain things here. He's maintaining his innocence. His attorney says there was male DNA that didn't belong to Steve under the victim's fingernails. That's what she's saying. That's what they're saying now. The judge said he declined the request to search for new evidence, but allowed them to file affidavits on that particular piece of evidence. But later on, he ordered testing of the fingernails, and the ruling came in that the motion claiming that if a third party's DNA were found, it would be evidence of another person's presence and blah, blah, blah. The district attorney says this is all a smokescreen. This is the testing they're talking about. They're not saying that this wasn't tested. It says, quote, in the first test, 1/2 of the nail samples were tested. With the recent court order, the second half of the samples will be tested. It's the same exact samples. Right. They just cut the nails in half, and that way it's a backup sample and an A and a B sample. It's just how you do science.
We're going to test that too, and it's going to come back same shit.
It's literally the same thing. It's like, so now we're testing the other half of the nail. Well, there'll probably be the same shit here. They also said that, they're talking about patio glass and shit like that, and the judge says, not enough, fuck off. Yeah. DNA doesn't mean shit. Still in prison, sir. Yeah. He's in prison. Unfortunately for this other man, there's an actor named Stephen Lee Allen.
Another one?
Another one. And an actor named him. He's been in a million things. He's on up till recently, too.
Really?
I mean, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Really?
He's like a working guy that you'd see in a sitcom, a bit actor in a sitcom. Been in a million things. And his name is Stephen Lee Allen.
Poor bastard.
And if you Google Stephen Lee Allen, he spells his with a V, whereas our guy in this story
PH?
spells it with a PH.
Got it.
But it doesn't matter. Whichever way you type type it, it comes up with both.
Poor bastard.
So good luck here for him.
It.
Now, there is a website here. The site is oocities.org/Steve_Allen_info /index, HTML.html. That's the website. Now, this website is the Steve is Innocent website.
Get out.
Okay. It is
that web address?
That web address.
You're chasing.
It's not great.
The amount. That's a terrible.
It's a bad way. It's not catchy.
No.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
The amount of websites that exist, and you're stuck with that one?
Yeah. It's, they have like most everything from the trial, every testimony, it's transcripts, not just court documents. It's fucking transcripts, transcripts of pretrial, transcripts of appeals, transcripts of every dude, it's nuts. And I read all of this shit.
It's like buried on 8chan.
I am. Oh my God, my head is spinning from this case. This is the most reading I've ever done for a case. So every drop of this trial I fucking read, and these appeals. And at the bottom of the page of here, and at the top, there's a picture of. It looks like it was made in 1996. This website, first of all, there's a picture at the top of like Steve and Sandra together there, and then at the bottom it says, "quote Steve's family and friends continue to search for information leading to the person responsible for this horrible crime. We're hopeful that someone has information that is capable of freeing Steve and possibly convicting the guilty person." Yeah. They're going to look for the real killer, Jimmy, OJ style.
Get out there.
That's that. He's still in prison, life in prison. No chance there of getting out. And that is Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and that is the poor Allen family.
That is one of the worst planning.
Terrible. Yeah.
Not just
dismount.
Not even just dismount.
The whole thing was terrible.
The whole thing sucks.
Not to mention, man, I mean, it makes sense for him to do it then because his two older kids were gone. So they could have, they would have been in the mix, whereas the younger one doesn't know what's going on. He's 2. He can't exactly testify.
Right.
So I feel horrible for these fucking kids. These 3 kids had to grow up with no parents now.
They lost
nobody.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I mean, they had their grandparents and family and a support system.
That's not easy.
But it's not your parents.
No.
And especially if you know the circumstances of how this happened, that your mom was murdered, by your dad. That's extra bad. So
my cousin married a girl who that happened to her, and it fucking ruins people, man.
Terrible.
It makes them such difficult to manage people.
Well, it has to be.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be. Think about the emotions. The emotions are fucking horrible, man. It's horrible. But that's Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Wowza!
Holy shit! If you like that episode, I know what you can do.
Yeah.
You can get on purple icon Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. It helps so much. Doesn't matter what you say. Say it's very dark in here, and I'd like to get out. Yeah. So I'm finishing this review.
I can handle this.
I can do this. Yeah. So that helps a lot. Help us out. Help counteract some of the negative people out there, and that would help a lot. And
people yammer.
Thank you so much for everyone that does that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder related, merchandise, all sorts of stuff, especially though tickets to live shows.
Where?
My God, so many live shows upcoming here. Denver and Salt Lake City are sold out, but February 15th and 16th we're in Indianapolis at the Egyptian. Then the 16th we're in Louisville. Then we're in San Francisco and March, 2 late shows. That's going to be so much fun at Cobb's. That's going to be great. Later on in March, we're in Detroit and we're in Cincinnati, which is the 27th and 28th. Nashville shows are sold out. Then we go to Austin and Oklahoma City, and then to Boston, which is pretty much sold out, and a few tickets left in New York there for May, and then we go to June and the rest of it. So,
but Louisville,
Portland,
Indiana,
Seattle,
let's fucking party.
Let's do it. Let's party. We cannot wait. We're really jacked for that. We really can't wait for that. So come out and see us there. If you're wondering, should I go to a live show or not? Do they just? I understand what you're thinking. Well, you might think you hear this and then you think, oh, it's a live show, so we'll like come out real casually and sit down and be like, what's up? So we're doing this thing, and then we sit. No, that's not our show. Our show's a balls out comedy show. It's a great time. We're way more casual here than we are at the show.
We have to be,
because here you're driving in your car, you're at work, you don't need every 2-second stimulation. It would be bad for you, actually. You want some story, laughs, story, laughs.
Right.
The live show, we just pound you with laughs.
Yeah.
You're going to get a story, too. You're going to get a whole story. You're going to get pounded at the same time. But you're sitting in a chair at the comedy club, so
fix your marriage.
we're comedians. We want that response.
Yeah.
We want that laugh. We don't want to sit there and tell you a story and have you sit there and look at us. Even if you're interested in the story, we want you to be interested and laughing.
Right.
That's what our show is. It's a comedy show.
Riveted and
foremost.
entertained.
That's right. We tell a story just like we do here. We use a lot of pictures in it too, and it is wild shit. So please come and check us out there.
Let us pound you.
Let us pound you good. Please let us pound you.
I can't believe you said that.
I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm thinking here.
You're getting pounded.
Well, that's something the comics would say to each other. Fucking pounded them. You've heard people
show,
have a good set and you'd be like, I fucked that audience's face so hard. Like, okay, we say horrible things.
We just sold you a show by telling you we're going to fuck your face.
I just let you in on behind the scenes what every comedian's talking about. It's all horrible, aggressive sexual things.
Christ.
Oh, man.
It's a good marriage, me and comedy.
It's good. It is.
We fuck
works.
each other hard.
Right where it counts. Right where it counts.
Unbelievable.
So come see us at live shows. Do that. shutupandgivememurder.com is where you get your tickets to that. Follow us on social media because, like we said, Columbus is on sale now.
Right.
Now, the people that follow us on social media knew that Monday.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys are finding out now. Columbus is on sale. What did I say? November 21st.
Yeah.
We're at Columbus. Same place we were last year. Real nice theater. I think it's a Davidson, I think.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Davidson. Very nice theater. It's awesome. So come out and check us out there. We're we're pumped to be back in Columbus and all of our shows. Very excited. So social media, we are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. You can find us all throughout there. Also, if you want to be a hero of ours, God damn it, you could be such a hero. Yeah. You can. And the people, you are heroic, and you come through for us all the time, and we're going to gush about these people in just a moment. If you'd like to join the growing list of our wonderful producers, and in addition to that, be able to hear our Patreon episodes, our bonus episodes every little while when we do them, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or head over to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. Do that now. And quickly, I must say also, just a reminder, if you're listening to the episode and there's weird like spots repeat or skip or
so weird,
do stuff like that, that is not us.
We didn't do it.
That's not us.
No.
We put out, believe me, it's a fucking pristinely edited thing. We upload it to a platform. Somehow, some of the platforms don't work with each other. Our platform, if it's too long of a show, Apple Podcasts will chunk it up in a different. It's so weird.
You put it into a feed and then it's disseminated to all these platforms.
It's not us.
No.
So if it does happen to you, whatever platform you're using, complain to them.
Right.
Don't tell us because we can't do anything about it. We feel for you, but you tell us and then we go, God damn it, and we're right there in the same spot with you. We can do nothing to help it.
Tweet at them.
We're working on it. We have called, we've yelled, we've screamed. It's in the wheels are in motion. But if it happens and you need to say something, say it to them because we really can't. We can't make it.
There are other podcasts that are experiencing it also, and they're not saying much either. So, I mean, they only say it to the podcast. The podcast does what they can do, and that's really it. Outside of that, it's everybody that puts it up's mean. So yell at them. Yell whatever you podcast way that you listen. Yell at them.
Podcast way that you listen. Speaking of that, Jimmy, what podcast way you listen? You know what I need? Like a ball peen hammer. I need to be hit with the names. Pound me, Jimmy, with the names.
This week's executive producers are Tanya Volanek, Tiffany Rubenstein.
I saw that. I was like, yeah.
What am I doing?
Jordan Bennett. Tiffany Robertson, too.
Yeah, she's great, too. Jordan Bennett and Simon Shedd.
Thank you.
Christine Crew, Catherine Murray, and Carissa B. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
It's so humbling and just it's amazing to see you guys doing what you do for us. Thank you. Alice Daly, Jackie Sukup, Jeffrey A., Chelsea Morgan, Janice Hill, Blue, would no last name, just Blue, Thomas Smith, Patrick Lau, Emily Riefenhofer, Riepenhoff. Yep. Matthew Seddon.
Something German.
Yes. Matthew Seddon, Susanna Platt, Chris Brudendahl. I think. Sandra Workman, Kristen Stopzig, what is that? Oh, it's Kristen Stop Being Grim Karen. That's what it is. And that is Love, Amanda Rutherford.
Beautiful.
Alyssa Atkinson, Jesse Hartman, Joshua Austin, Martina Lilulonga, I always.
Hi, Martina.
I'll always
see you in San Francisco.
See you then, dear. Thanks for the Christmas card.
Yeah.
Alexandria Fraser, Chad Sutton, James Martyr, Maria Goal, Kenneth Baker, Corey Kuhn, I think. Yeah. It's 2 Ks. That's tough. Rachel Stora, Christopher Irvine, Josephine Gavinier, I think, maybe. Kelly Pearson, Christina Thomas, Reagan Shaukley, Rachel Cox, Miranda B., Robin Anderson, Annette Carey, I think that's what that says. Diana Tripp, Gretchen Harrison, Susan Harvey, Hannah Colelli, Tony Francisco, Kristen with no last name, Jocelyn Cooksey donated both ways. Thank you so much, Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Krista Walker, damn it. Susie Brandt, Peyton Meadows, Joshua Hilliard, Pinwheel Books, I don't know what it is, Google it, I suppose. Megan Wickline, Anna's Herbalife, or Herbalife? Herbalife, right?
Herb?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Ben Saulnier, Carla Broman, Not Sure 3. That's what they wanted.
All right.
I don't know.
We are sure.
So, yeah, we are positive. Katie Emerson, John Lopez, Ashley Vio, Jason Covert, Christopher Nesmith, True Design Homes. No, Haas. What is that? Hosey? I think it's True Design House. I think that's
probably.
True.
That makes sense.
Sarah Rum Hart, Nicholas Howard, Charles Buchet, Lisa Weikert, that's Weicker, Madison Schilling, Sharon Gooch. This week is brutal. Samantha Ballard,
you guys have rough names this week.
Gwendolyn Van Veen, Miles McCallan, Anya, Larry. That's Lanny. Lanny Blunk, Bobby Sanchez, Lauren Hill. Probably not that one, right? No, it's Lauren Hall. So. That's why.
Oh, well, definitely not.
Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Cassie Howard. No, Cassie Harris. Jesse Bone. I think Boan, Allison Howard, Trevor Greenberg, Brittany Whitehill, Mario Guerra, Corinne Campbell, Rosa Martinez, Jesus, whew, breather, Samantha Gibson, Deborah Bryant, Emma Keeger, Toast, no last name, I think that's a cat or a dog. Toast,
well,
I believe
thanks,
so. Yeah. Alex,
he's a good boy.
He is a good boy. Alex Bacon, Susie Collette, Stephen Hancock, Shanna with no last name, Tracy Mitchell, Jesse Mendez, Jessica Hagan, James Pugsley, Anais Ross, Laura Ashburn, Michaela Campaigner, Trevor Greenberg, Kelsey Cunningham, Marissa Miller, Alyssa Sylvester, Valerie Jordan, Zach Savignac, Jordan Galash, John Clapsaddle, Jim Crow, probably not that one.
I hope not.
Kate Gilbert, Sam Pippinger, Jim Darkangelo, not Light Angelo.
That's the opposite.
Alana Ochoa, Shit Strap? No, Strap 1983. Christina
Strap.
I don't know what's happening.
I guess not.
Christina Keeter, Caitlin Cody, Tara Strumminger, Allison Wenman, Joanna Bond, Part Gary. That guy, man, he's a hell of a man.
Shit strap.
I've
never heard those words put together before.
Neither have they. Randall Getz, Taylor nope. Sorry, Taylor. Sechnalap.
At least you didn't call her shit strap. It's better than that.
John Kensinger, Harrison Dunham, Katrina Hotari, Megan O'Donnell, Clementine Brown, Alex B. Mayer, Matt Davis, Mary Weaver, Kevin Gilliand, Angela Preciadio. Listen, I'm doing my damnedest, and it's so fucking hard. The last people I have, I like to write down in my notes right quick the people that send me things like James Eberly and his wife Ashley had a baby Jackson, and he is in the NICU, and and they are the sweetest people, and I hope little Jackson pulls through.
Man.
Thank you guys all.
I've been there. That's rough.
I know you have. Thank you guys all so much for the support that you guys offer us. We can't do this without you. And pull through, little Jackson. We're thinking of you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you do. Honestly, man, everything you do, it's not just the donations. Obviously, that's huge, but it's your support on everything and how you guys always kind of give us the benefit of the doubt that we're not ass wipes. Assholes, but not ass wipes.
Right.
So you know we're not bad people, and we appreciate that.
We try really hard to handle things with grace and class, and we don't have a lot of it, but what we do have, we reserve for situations. We really scrape the bottom of the tank, though, to get it all out. We find it, and we dig deep to be the best people that we can. We try. And we don't want to let you guys down, so thank you guys so much for doing what you do for us.
Hopefully we succeed sometimes. Yeah. Jimmy, what if they wanted to tell you something like that and nice things that you do for them? How could they do it?
You can remind me of my classlessness at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Thank you guys for really coming to our rescue every week, and we really appreciate it. Where can they find you?
If you want to remind me of my godlessness, you can do that at Jimmy P is Funny. Or just copy and paste my name from the show description. Make it easy on yourself. But everything like that. With that said, everybody.
I got no air. Holy shit.
It's been our pleasure. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.